bunch of winners, man. IBIT breaks. We're out of that as it takes out 88,000. Now bouncing a little bit. NVIDIA's going to take. Who thinks it's going to take out all-time highs today? Put up your hand.
Oh, today?
Obi, who thinks it could take out all-time highs today? Really?
I want to see the chart. How about let me look at the chart?
No, this feels like pure pressure.
Okay, yes, it's 148. Yeah. You know, in class when everybody raises their hands and you look around and you're like, oh, I don't want to be.
I don't want you to look at me and be like,
yeah, no. Yeah, you know what? It's trading 148 to 149. So yeah, today we're 70 cents. Well within.
We're $1 away.
Well within range.
$1 away. Yeah, all right. Without any further ado, let's go, Obi. Congratulations. Good day again. We'll have another one at 2 p.m. Join us then. Let's go over to the midday show with Sharif and it's Joseph. Thank you.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That's your boy Joe, and I'm Sharif. And we're gonna have to wait for everyone to, yes, weasel their way on over. We already have a couple of early birds. Adara is in the chat. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. JF Trader, Fiddleback Goat, Rob EV. We got UniQ, we got Yannick, we got Mateus Lane, the beautiful Gate, J-Lo, Pitchbull, Naps. Are we going to Adara?
Who knows a story,
go.
apparently.
We already have news, guys. Here we have Biogen, BIIB, up about 4%. Look at this volume spike. Apparently, the European Medicines Agency here, the EMA, has recommended one of their treatments here for early Alzheimer's. So I guess positive note coming from the European Medicines Agency, pushing BIIB to the upside. Is also worth noting here, GETY on watch, that's Getty Images, here announcing a partnership with TikTok. They got a little bit of a pop there as well, guys.
Very much for that, Adara. Let's continue on with the shout out. We got Faraz Jabari, Oliver Casteros, and G. Castro. G. Castro still talking about CLDI. I love your persistence, brother. Have at it. You were talking about it yesterday. Keep going it today. We got Luis Suarez, not the biter who bites soccer players, not that guy. Jeffrey Franklin, he bit Chiellini, Katina, man. We got Minnie Mouse. We got Bright Awakening and Drops Trades. My Eye, shout out to Benton C as well. Small Cap Gapper Trader, Kendall Lopez. We got the Fugazi Bear and David Clark. Shout out to them as well. Cleverly, Rise. We got Damn. We got Jezzy El Problema. Okay. Alex Goyas. And last one here, T-Man.
T-Man.
How are you, man?
What's up, brother? How's everything? How was the evening? How was the gym sessions?
Bro, I'm doing triples now. So we're doing a half an hour session first thing in the morning, right when I get up, 5 a.m., 5:30. We're doing the walk that I just did, and then we're doing the regular an hour and a half session. So that's just the way it is right now.
Man, hey, man, you're buzzing right now. So, I mean, when you're rolling, just keep the ball rolling and continue with it. So, yeah, that's a good one. Sharif, you know what we're going to do before we get into the lesson, and then we'll send it off to you before we do quickly. But we're going to go with the win play show, and we're going to see you in the sector performance. And it looks like a complete sector rotation because on the top spot, we have energy up a whopping 0.25%. Utilities in second up about 1/5. And then we got financials about 1/10. So it's a little bit of a quiet day on the equities front. But we're going to be talking some volume price analysis today. But Sharif, is there anything you would like to touch up on?
Yes, sir. We'll just have a quick look at the small cap gappers, and then we'll get right into the lesson, guys, on the... Yeah, just this one right here. Omar, we got Omar, not the person, but the stock. OMER, doing a nice little VWAP hold here. This one has my attention, let me tell you. It's holding up at VWAP, and it's a good look right now, up 60%. What are the details on our friend Omar? Let's find out. I was about to say it's a Canadian company. No, it's not. It's a biotech company, $385 million market cap, about 9 million shares traded today. Definitely keeping my eye on this one. I also like the look of UAVS's jib over here, breaking down below VWAP, but a nice technical level. These two are the ones that are awfully directional. BK. SY, nice move up, looking to knock on the door of $9. And same thing here with MDXG. Look at this buy program. You're not going to convince me that's not a buy program. That is just greenery anywhere you look. So we're going to look to participate in some of that, Joseph, but can't wait for the lesson.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there, my friend. But yeah, let's get right into it. It's going to be action-packed today, so hopefully you guys learn something. So today we're going to be talking about correlating volume and price, and I think it's such a key metric to taking your trading to the next level. And I'm actually really excited to show you a prime example of what we did today as well too, and I was showing Sharif. So let's get right into it, and we're gonna go over some basics, and then we'll get into some more, I wouldn't say complex stuff, but I think it's really gonna add some more dynamic aspect to your trading, all right? So correlating volume and price. So, all right, guys, understanding the correlation between volume by time and price is a key aspect to multiple time frames of trading: intraday, swing trading, and even long-term investing. There are multiple ways to analyze these two fundamental metrics in trading. So, some key terms that we're going to focus on are referred to as a genuine move and what we would like to call a volume price anomaly, all right? So, with this terminology, we're also going to break down what the cause and effect are of price and volume movement, as well as the effort and result after the candles and volume bars have printed, all right? So these are some of the key metrics that we're going to analyze, and then you'll be able to depict and be like, hey, this looks like a genuine move, or hey, this might be somewhat of an anomaly, all right? So getting into it, the length of any wick, either at the top or bottom of a candle print, is a must when it comes to focusing on VPA. This reveals impending strength, weakness, and indecision. Most importantly, the extent of associated market sentiment, all right? If no wick is created, this can signal strong market sentiment in the direction of the closing candle. A candle of the same type will have a completely different meaning depending on where it prints on your chart. Volume can confirm price. Start with the PA candle, then base that thesis and look for genuine moves or anomalies, all right? So now we're gonna get into something that is basically what I would classify as a genuine move and something that we can classify as a possible anomaly, all right? So this is just basic stuff. Like when you first start trading, this is what you learn is how candles print, all right? So this we can classify as a genuine move. We have a large volume print, as you guys can see here. With that, we have a large price action print. This can be classified as a genuine move. You see the effort within the volume, and then you get the result within that price action print, all right? And the same thing goes. We have a low volume with a small price action print or a small candle print. This can also be classified as a genuine move because you see from an effort and result standpoint that it is correlated, all right? So you have low volume with smaller bars being printed, all right? So basic stuff. This is stuff that when you first started trading, you learn about them, but maybe this gives you a little bit more of a different outlook in how you can perceive these things, all right? So moving forward, something that we can classify as an anomaly, all right? So we have a large price action print, but low volume. So this is like, the effort and result isn't there, all right? So the effort doesn't reflect the result. And the same thing goes the other way. We have a high volume, but a smaller candle print, a more compressed price action, all right? So these are something that we can classify as an anomaly. So you want to keep in mind what the effort is and then the result from that effort, all right? So moving forward, candlesticks and price action bars can print countless ways. We previously went over basic prints. Here are some additional candlestick prints we need to continue to monitor and analyze. And when we look out for these prints, we want to look for distinctive indecision within the price action. And as you can see, and don't mind the colors of them, they can reflect green or red. I just put them in as red. But we have a complete indecision candle here, so the open and close are relatively the same. But then here we have an inverted hammer or a shooting star, whatever you would like to call it. There's so many different names, or a gravestone. And then we have this hammer or the hanging man, depending on where you're going to locate these candles. But if you keep in mind and you look for these candles at extremes, I promise you, as I show you an example today, you're going to be able to identify when something may be at an extreme high or an extreme low. We're gonna go over some a live example and some other things that I picked out from a daily perspective as well. And there's definitely one that I noticed yesterday on the Qs, so maybe I'll be able to find that and I'll pull up the one that I found on the Qs and the SPY as well too. And sure enough, it reversed. So these are highly respected candles, and once you have the ability to identify them, I think they're gonna add another dynamic to your trading, all right? So utilizing multiple bars to determine genuine moves and price action can help you determine if the asset is going to continue to trade higher, lower, or setting up as a possible fake breakup or breakdown, all right? So when price is appreciating, this is just basic stuff that we want to see. We want to see steady volume, or we want to see the volume appreciating as well too. So we can also classify this as a genuine move. We have price appreciating, and then we're having the volume backing that as well. So we'll keep that in mind. And the same thing in a downtrend, when the price starts depreciating and we start the descent, you want to see the volume start to pick up in your favor. So this is something you want to keep an eye out for, okay? So diverging volume and price. So this can be associated with, so say we're in a definitive downtrend, and then you see the pullback of green candles and the volume starting to dwindle as we start to pull back and appreciate in price. This can be classified as, hey, maybe this is a potential pullback. Let me find a good entry place, because if volume steps in back to the downside, then therefore you know you're going to be in the right spot at the right time. And the same thing goes when you're in an uptrend. If you see that the downtrend has dwindling volume, then hey, that might give you a little more confirmation that, okay, the price action prints aren't as clean, it's not as orderly, the volume is dwindling on the pullback, and then out of nowhere, the volume steps right back in. So those are just basic looks that you want to see when you are looking for genuine moves opposed to anomalies, all right, guys? So analyzing volume by time signatures, we'll touch on this. We'll start off from here, but we're going to send it off to Sharif, and we're going to get a lot more into igniting and stopping volume there. So guys, if you have any questions, be sure to throw them in the chat from what we've learned so far today. And then once we get back from Sharif, I'm going to show you a prime example of of stopping volume, all right? So once we get back, we'll touch on some stopping volume. What are you cooking up there, my friend?
All right, homie, couple of positions right here. The first one that I just weaseled into, MDXG. That's the one that I'm positing is a buy program. They've got some size here preventing this one ascending above 9. We'll have to wait and see whether that size gets taken out. $9, not a technical level, but it is a psychological resistance level. So the volume dropping off a little bit right now on this one, but we're still averaging about 125,000 shares per 5-minute candle. So let's pack our patience and have a look at that one. I'm in here, bang! Now we're taking out some profits on MTEM. Let's take it out again here at 90. Let's see if this one can weasel up into that 90 penny area. MTEM just showed up on my scanner, and the reason is because I filter everything south of 85 pennies. 85 strategic here to give me notice about this one as it approaches to 1. That's the whole thinking behind 85. It's not some technical secret or anything like that. So now we've taken out about, say, 1/3 of the position or so. Let's see if this one is able to weasel up into that $1.91 pennies right now. HOD, a light, a decent, and not so bad. 160% on the day. Let me give you the details. 5 2/3 million market cap, 70 1/5 million shares traded so far with a float of 6.3 million shares. And let's find out what Trade Idea says about this bad boy and its short float. Let's load it up. MTEM. What do we got on this? 5%, 4.97. Not the biggest, but also not too bad. It really depends on where the shorts are set up. So I'm going to let's see if this one wants to bull flag. The stop's already in play. Nothing to do here other than to throw out orders or get stopped out. Really, that's how this is going to work. I'm not in love with the name, but we're in it right now. So let's have let's keep an eye on MTEM. I think this is a multiple day play. Let me just have a look quickly. No, that is incorrect. This one was not running yesterday. No, not at all. This one was dead yesterday, deader than Apple. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. I also loaded up a new one onto the side chart here while Joseph was dropping hot lines. Oh, sorry, I did. That's the MTEM. The other one we're looking at is DJT. Awfully weak on the day. It's putting that umbrella pattern that Adara talks about sometimes where it's kind of like a bear flag where you have that big boy drop, you know, a little bit of a consolidation, but it's rejecting off the 10 and looking to curl back down, trying to do its worst right now with 27 pennies. So keeping my eye on that one. BTCT. You saw the Katina man print hundreds of dollars per share. No, he didn't, but he did really well on this one. I'm watching it not because it's flat on the day. midday, Joseph, but because it's at that closing print from yesterday and has been holding it since 10 a.m. So the better part now of an hour and 15 minutes, it's been holding this 1750 to 18. You know, it's not really like my type of trade to want to take it off the bottoms and play the range, but if it wants to hold out here and break out, I'm going to be on the lookout for a $19 break and take on BTCT. Only reason being it's a local area crest, and we had a lot of chop and churn in that area as well. So I'm going to actually throw an alert on this bad boy for a 19 break and take. In fact, I'm not even going to put it below 19. I'm going to put it above because I don't want to be wicked into this one a little bit too soon. So that's all I'm looking at right now, brother. What are you looking at?
Yeah. I just want to touch quickly on what I did earlier before the show started, and this is a prime example of being able to identify at extremes highs and lows, and I just waited for the Billy to sell off. Guys, you heard me talk about multiple times of having isolated volume signatures and isolated candle prints. So this is a prime example of what I would classify as stopping volume. You can name it whatever you would like, but as you can see, we have a definitive downtrend here on Billy after the report. But then you have this anomaly here where you have an isolated volume signature that's as big as the opening drive with that hammer candle doji print. So that's exactly why I'm like, okay, have we put in a potential bottom? That's how strong these signals are. When you have the ability to identify these isolated volume signatures, you can then possibly, at extremes, I must clarify, then you can possibly make trades based off of this. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm glad that this showed up today to show you guys, because it is a part of the lesson. So as you can see from Billy, we had this volume signature, a standalone volume signature, and then we take this trade a little higher. So I was long at the break of the signature. It now signifies, hey, we're not making any new immediate lows. So then this can give me an opportunity for the long, which I was looking for. Not to say that it's going to trend all day, but let's see if this level can hold. If it breaks this, then expect some more downside. But as for now, the defense on Billy was here at this point around 1930s. Put in the volume signature, put in the candle print, the effort and the result was there, and then boom, you can take that trade a little higher and higher. So that was my look on Billy. I did get stopped out break even, which is totally fine. IBIT is coming down a little. Oh, it's recovering a little bit, sitting around $50.18, which is totally fine and totally expected. As Sharif and I were talking about this off camera, I was like, yeah, it's healthy. Like, I think yesterday it was a little bit of an extension, more of a short squeeze-ish, if anything, right? Pushing to 93. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a breath than what happened. So that's my take. I think it's healthy what's happening. I don't think that we break 77s again. I think it holds, and then we continue the leg higher. So yeah, that's my look on Bitcoin, my friend.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, I think that's healthy. I'm going to be taking these opportunities to obviously add to my IBIT position. I have a starter position that I got into last Thursday, so it hasn't even been a week. So I'm going to be, you probably don't want to hear this, but I'm going to be rooting for it to go down so that I can get a better price. And yeah, so that's the look there. So in three positions now, we're in QBTS. This one, another quantum computing name. Who remembers QUBT from yesterday? Well, it's not only them that's running today. We got a new entrant into the quantum computing field. QBTS up 14% at that $2 level, breaking out. Volume started coming in a little bit higher here, about 500,000 shares per 5-minute candle, dropping off a little bit though since it took that $2 break and take. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on this one, planning DCA here to defend that $2 level. We also have an area crest at 198, but it's too close to 2 to think that it'd be otherwise. Now the one that I'm concerned with though is MTEM, because it's coming down a little bit here, even though we were able to de-risk a little bit. Volume weighted average price is at 74. Let's see where my stop is, because I think my stop is incorrectly placed, given where VWAP is. It's okay. It's okay. It's a smidge below VWAP. I'm going to leave it where it is right now. It's below the volume weighted average price, and that's all I really wanted to see. It was whether I had my stop above VWAP or not, because I don't want it above VWAP, obviously. So MTEM, we're going to let that bad boy cook. QBTS, we're already involved in that. MDXG, this one's unable to break 9. So that one that we were talking about with a big boy seller at $9 Well, we're unable to ascend there. So I'm looking at adding on this one at the 10 exponential moving average, and my 885 is a little bit, yeah, okay. I have a DCA planned dollar cost average here at 885 to account for that 10 exponential. I gotta tell you though, this one is so directional that it's hard to say, okay, you know, I can add here, or I should get out here. It's not really giving you any clear areas where you can say, oh, there was chop and churn at this level. Oh, you know, buyers are stepping here. No, because it's a buy program, and I won't be convinced otherwise, and it's so directional. It's not giving you that look. So let's have a look at the 30 over here, the 30-minute chart, to see if there are any levels that we can gauge from other days. No, we're at weekly highs anyway. Let's look at the 4-hour to see if the 4-hour gives us a different look. The 4-hour is taking a hot minute to load over here. So what we'll do is we'll talk about it when we get back from Madera at the green screen.
As we always do around this time of day, we're going to take a look at some of these larger percentage movers to the upside and downside on the S&P 500. And if these or any other tickers are on your mind and you want to know what Sean and Obi have to say about them, get in the chat and vote. Exclamation point, join, space, $, and your ticker of choice. You have 2.5 hours left to vote. Voting closes at 1:50, and at 2 p.m., we'll go over the top 5 names. Let's start here with RTX. The theme for this segment today is going to be companies making announcements. RTX actually announcing that Raytheon was awarded this U.S. Army contract for wireless power beaming technology. Unfortunately, though, RTX down about 3%. There has been some defense weakness here, so it could be sector-wide weakness regardless of the seemingly positive announcement here from RTX. Then we have here, next up, Schwab. Charles Schwab here, up on the day, nice bull flag, announcing their numbers, I guess, for October pretty positively received there in terms of transaction and customers. So great look here for SCHW. Last but not least, TPR. Tapestry, we mentioned this one already, but steadily continuing its climb to the upside after calling off its merger deal. It was attempting to acquire Capri for $8.5 billion. They had some regulatory and legal issues, so that has been called off. And the company also announced they're expanding their repurchase program here by $2 billion. So TPR, RTX, SCHW, if these or any other tickers are on your mind, make sure you vote. Back to you.
Thank you very, very much, Adara. And as Adara was telling us about, was it Sector Watch? Sector Watch. We're caught in an uphold here and on MTEM. Where'd we get in? Did I take out the? Oh, come on! No, I took out the entire thing again. I suck, Joseph. Yeah, I did.
No.
Yeah, that's okay. We're profitable.
Right, profitable.
Fail, baby.
Yeah.
It's a profitable trade. We got top wick for right now, up 213%, baby. So we got, do something. It's halted,
do something
homie.
about it, man.
So here we go. Last a little out there at 101. So we take the bull flag. Hey, man, I'll get back in on this bad boy if it wants to present me with another opportunity. So good look right now on MTEM. Halted to the upside. Be careful with this one, guys. This one will, it's a dangerous one. The other one that we're printing on, QBTS, took out a little bit there as it popped into 210. I've got another beak wetter set up at 212, but I'm still really interested in DCAing at that $2 level, and it looks like it came down into my level and didn't print me for whatever reason, so it looks like it didn't cross. So I'll be waiting at that $2 area to see if I can take that one out. The one that I haven't taken anything out on is MDXG right now because it's whiffling, it's waffling at that $9 level. It's still above the 10 exponential. I have a planned dollar cost average on this one as well at 885 to account for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. That's what I'm looking at right now. We'll see if we can weasel into something else. I've also got a couple of earnings plays. You know, I'm watching Disney and stuff like that, but that's not really my wheelhouse, right? It's either the Mag 7 or these small cap gappers. I don't like to stray away too far from home. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at NVDA, and I put in another position there for Billy. I have a definitive out as well, too. But Kendall Lopez pointed out, she's like, Joe, the volume on NVDA is diverging, and I'm like, you are not wrong at all. So as you can see, as we start to appreciate in price, the volume is slowly starting to fall off from an average standpoint. So keep in mind, that doesn't mean the turnaround is imminent, but just be prepared that unless volume steps in, then there can be a potential pullback. We are hovering over VWAP, slightly extended, and the volume is slowly falling off. But if the volume steps in, then be prepared. This stock can take another leg higher. You want to look for extremes. And I don't know if I would classify us at an extreme right now, but Kendall, you're not wrong. as we appreciate in price, the volume is dropping off. So always keep an eye out on that. And I really like that you pointed that out, because now I have an eye out on NVDA. But I'm going to bring back up Billy here, because I took a second entry just based off the same thesis. We now formed essentially a double bottom, close to it anyways, but now we're starting to slowly climb back and appreciate in price. But the volume is really, really falling off, and you can expect this with ADRs, and especially around this time too. So keep that in mind. I might take a little bit off up here as we continue to climb a little bit higher and higher, because we already had this nice trade on it. But you can see that the price action isn't as orderly. The candles are getting more and more thin, prices compressing, and the volume and the momentum is falling off as well too. But yeah, other than that, I'm just looking at NVDA. I think a lot of people have 150 break in their minds here and prepared for that. So if the volume does step in, the price is starting to compress a little bit here. So I'll be prepared. If we do see a big volume influx, I'm going to look to take advantage of that as well too. And I remember somebody pointed out Microsoft the other day when we had that ascending wedge, which I really like. But we're going to get stopped out here shortly. I'll hold it a little bit longer. I only took a little bit off. So, but yeah, that ascending wedge on Microsoft worked out really well. I don't know if this NVIDIA print is doing the exact same thing, but I'm not in love with the semis right now at all. AMD, NVDA, I think there's other things that we can be trading and that are a little bit hotter. But other than that, guys, let me know what you're looking at. Any questions in the chat? We're going to go over a couple more things shortly. I was going to look at something for you guys, but slipped my mind. But we'll send it off to Sharif quick.
No worries. Yeah, I wanted to mention today, so the reason is just...
Chat.
You want to?
No, yeah, sorry, just the super chat. Yeah. That's what I was going to do. We had a $20 super chat, so thank you guys for that. It's now gone. It was 20 back. Yeah, and there's another one too.
There's a way to go to them, guys. Yeah. How can we look at the super chats? Pardon me? Fan funding. Thank you very much. So Volcan. What's SEK, Joseph, in terms of currency?
Know. Yeah.
I'll have to do. Is that Swedish kroners? SEK. Sounds like it's Swedish kroners. We're gonna have to type SEK currency. What is that? Yes, it is Swedish krona. I thought it was kroners. Okay. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. All good. Thank you for the 20 Swedish krona. NVIDIA, let's go. 150 today. Good question. We've been at 150 before on the Monster NVIDIA, so it'll be a repeat level. Let's have a look.
Beautiful.
We're at 149 HOD, Joseph. Guys, chart, please. 149 HOD. We're at 148.88. It's beautiful. It's an ascending, higher highs and higher lows. Very respectful of the 10 moving average. Could we see 150 today? I think it's a possibility. The market gets going and breaks out 149. We're a lot closer to 149, the high of the day right now, printing 148.84 than we are the lows, 145.55. So, there's nothing certain and ever about trading, or very little. But yeah, we could definitely get to 150 today. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, good luck. Let me know how it goes. Definitely be interested to see how you did there. So, here we go. This is breaking out. BKSY, there it is. It just broke and took $9. So there's two stocks now that I'm watching that are flirting with $9, both around 20% up on the day. BKSY just broke and took $9, 909 HOD. Very, very respectful of the 10 moving average. Look at the bottom one here I'm looking at. And then the one above it, MDXG, flirting with 9. It's maybe bull flagging, holding above that 10 exponential. I personally feel, hope, whatever word you want to use, that it's accumulating for that 9 break and take. We'll have to wait and see. It looked like a hell of a buy program that got shut off right into that 9. There's a new entrant, though, and it's currently halted in small cap gapper world, Joseph. PXDT up 180%, just took that $1 level, so I didn't have notice of it until it was, halted already at 94 pennies. So it's a multiple halter, guys. PXDT. Here's the 1 minute look. It's a once, twice, and then OB thrice halt. The first two, or the first one, was a 5 minute. We had a 10-minute halt for the second. For the second halt, and then we'll find out what this one is. We're currently about 1 minute deep into this bad boy right now. You know how I feel about these multiple halters. If they're going to halt to no end, I'm gonzino, or I won't trade them. But if it settles down, establishes a trend, a pattern, something that we can discern, I'll definitely be looking there. Guys, MTEM opened up again. It dipped into $1, got bought up quick as you like. Higher lows on this bad boy here on MTEM. Looks like it's defending that buck. Unlucky number 13 HOD right now, but I like these higher lows, and I certainly like this hammer candle forming right now. I'll like it even more if this hammer candle eventually takes out the high of the day, because then it'll be a really good hammer candle. Really? So that's all we'll keep looking at there, Joseph. What do you got on your side, my man?
Yeah. I'm just over here just looking at the Bitcoin chart here as well, too. I do think that this move all the way up to 93K, or 90, was it short of like 94K, was a little bit extended. I was hoping that we would have another inside day or two after this candle printed, and then we can take that healthy move up to 100K, which I think everybody has as a potential price target. But I mean, this isn't horrible as well either. We're still holding this kind of range. So you want to see this volume start to step off a little bit, so that can give me a little bit more confirmation that this asset is just breathing and we're not just going absolute parabolic, even though we do have all this pent-up demand here and supply. So we'll keep that in mind. But I wouldn't be surprised if we came in and tested the 80s, lower 80s again, and then we continue. Otherwise, if it stays within this range and we can chop around maybe for a day or two and then take another healthy new high and then maybe take a push to all-time highs on that front. But other than that, guys, I'm just looking at, is there news on Google hit? I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's have a look here. Is it moving?
It's down 2%.
It's down 2%.
2 and 5th.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wow. And you know what? I was actually going to talk to Sharif about this because I know he's an EV guy, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
So I was doing a little bit of research yesterday because I know that Elon is now going to be in the Department of Efficiency, I believe it is, in the markets.
Guys,
but,
what's going on with the screen?
But yeah, what I wanted to ask you was, okay, so the technologies in Tesla's FSD and Google's Waymo are slightly different. So apparently, so Google's Waymo uses what is it called, LiDAR, and then the FSD that Elon uses is AI and like sensory based, right? Camera based, right? So that's why maybe one is doing better than the other apparently. Because I know in the West Coast, like if you go on the Waymo app, you can get one like that, yeah, right. So that may be a little bit of a difference. So maybe Elon, now that he's in the department, he's going to get things to push policy quicker to get to adapt FSD, right? So that was interesting for me, right?
That's what they were worried about, right? Getting regulatory approval to have these cars on the road. They don't look, man. They stood up to Elon. They made his life hell for 4 years. There was a lot of lawfare. Every government agency under the planet was investigating him for something. And that's the way it was, and he had to deal with that. Now, maybe the tables are turning a little bit.
Absolutely, and I think the market priced a little bit of that in 100%. As well too. So yeah.
100%.
So that was interesting because I didn't know the technologies were a little bit different, but that's something that I was looking at. But now maybe the market's pricing in a little bit of that as well too. Different technologies there. But Sharif, what do you got going on there? I know some people are talking about SoundHound. Waymo's all over LA, but yeah.
Okay, so I just got the alert that our friend here, BTCT, just took out that alert level that I put there for the neckline break. Now, this has been hugging the, there we go, BTCT's going, guys. The reason I even had this, because it was straddling that closing print from yesterday. And so I said to myself, if it's not giving up the ghost at the yesterday's closing print, so if it wants to stay break even on the day, is there somebody buying it up here that likes it at that level? Or even if somebody's trading it, fine with me. Now we're zigging and zagging. We got to that top end of the range. But look at this, guys. We didn't break and take it. We got into the top end of the range, and then right back below 19 we go. So I don't want to be quick to jump into this, but if this presents me with a range trade, now I don't like to trade ranges. I know Adara, but these ones are small cap gappers and I can get blown out trying to range trade these. So it scares me a little bit to try to range trade, but it looks good. It looks good. 19 1/3 up here to the top side, about 17.5, give or take, to the downside. That's almost $2 worth of range on a small cap gapper on an $18 name. That ain't that bad, but it's spready, it's volatile. So you guys get it. I'm going to see, does this want to break out? If it doesn't want to break out, we'll decide whether we want to range trade it or not. But It's establishing a range here. Again, 19, 19.5 to the top side, 17.5 to the down side. All right, what are we doing here on QBTS? We're still straddling two. I still like the look of this one. I've moved up my stop a little bit because I did get that DCA at $2. Now we're long 203. We're printing twos here on QBTS. MDXG still straddling the $9 area, and MTEM is halted to the downside. But even though it's halted to the downside, Joseph, it's above VWAP. It's above the 10, the 20, and you get it. It's above these levels. So even though it's halted to the downside, technically, from a technical analysis, not in a different way, it looks good. It looks good. So, I don't really like trading these halting names, but maybe something off VWAP, 82.5 cents, maybe risking in a 75 to account for some slippage there. I could be definitely persuaded here to get something in on this one if it sets up right, but we'll have a look at that. Let's flip to these Mag 7s, man. I haven't said anything except about NVIDIA. The dead one Apple today is awoken. It weaseled up into 227, so we have a higher low and a higher high than yesterday. We're still below the November 8th high there at 228 and 2/3, but working up. Guys, I'll submit to you, I don't think there's a whole lot of investors buying Apple at these levels. I think it's probably that $150 billion buy program that they've got on because it just, there's so much uncertainty. I'm sorry for these colors over here. I'm going to take them off because I want to show you something here about Apple that I've been noticing lately anyway. So let's have a look. Let's take off these pivot points and look at this. What I do like about this is we're putting in consistently higher lows. So if we were to base, the local area low on Black Friday back in August, it's successively higher troughs. Even when we dipped into 220, look at the umpteen amount of bottoming tail candles. You can just tell someone's buying up a storm. And we always seem to close a little bit higher or off the lows. People keep buying every successive candle on this bad boy, higher low, higher low, higher low, with that 228 flat top. So Apple looks, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it as well, too. Yeah.
The tariffs worry me, but I know for a fact that he's given them an exemption in the past, so that lingers in my mind as well. So we'll see. We'll see, Joseph. Lots of undecided questions.
We'll see on that for sure, too, because I was kind of reevaluating my portfolio. I was thinking about maybe trimming the position, locking in some gains, and then maybe allocating those gains to something else. And I was thinking NVDA or something like that, or Amazon, but I want to wait for that report to come out on NVDA, which comes out, I believe, next week.
Appreciate that.
So yeah. So we'll take a look at that. We'll reevaluate what we going on. But in the meantime, we'll talk about what huge trade I got going on right after we get back from Adara.
Let's take a look here at some of the day one's earnings plays on watch and names that are going to be reporting for tomorrow. So we're going to start here with DIS, Disney, of course, the Walt Disney Company. Both Sean and Obi trading this one here on the main show. There was a beat here for earnings per share and sales. CEO Bob Iger actually calling this quarter the best for Disney. They did have some negative notes here. Apparently a 6% decline year over year in their linear networks aspect of their entertainment segment, but nice increase here in content sales and licensing. Direct to consumer up year over year. Their entertainment revenue as a whole was up by 14% year over year. There was a bit of a cautious note. Apparently the CFO is saying that their first quarter is going to be, quote, negatively impacted by the hurricanes that we saw happening in Florida due to the impact there at Walt Disney World. So that's something to watch out for in their next quarter, which should be reporting around January or February. They did as well here. The CFO also said they're going to be expecting stronger advertising for the next fiscal year. Now, we also have here CSCO. This one here down about 2%, though trying to have a little bit of a bounce. This was a bit of a more strong report of earnings per share and sales beat, and their EPS guidance above estimates for the year, but their lower end of their guidance for revenue actually fell below expectations, so mixed there for CSCO. Now let's talk here about their earnings on watch. Applied Materials reporting right at 4 p.m. Analysts are looking for $2.18 earnings per share and $6.94 billion in revenue. But let's talk about two of these small caps been running lately, ASTS and OKLO, because they're both reporting after the bell. OKLO analysts are looking for an 8-cent loss per share. ASTS here, analysts are looking for an 18-cent loss per share and revenue of $2 million. So we know both of these can move. Keep an eye out. And then Friday morning, things get even bigger with Alibaba reporting before the bell. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on. Going to be back to you guys, but make sure to vote for your tickers of choice. !join, space, $, and whatever ticker you're looking at. Back to the Bash Brothers.
As I like it.
Thank you, Adara, for that. That's jokes. Joseph, we got back into MTEM over here, and we're already scalping out. But look, anything below 85, I'm Gonzino because it did reject one. So we already scalped out. This is 3/5 of the position. I'm looking for that 110 break and take. But first, we got to hold above one. I don't want to give this one back. I already have a stop in place. The stop is below VWAP. And VWAP on my chart is at 83 pennies. But I'd love for this one to hold above $1. And this is what I mean when it's a fundamentally different trade, north and south of $1. But you have to zig and zag sometimes to either get above or below.
Bro, those are slapper entries. Those are wicked entries.
Bad,
yeah, those are really good entries.
So look, we'll see if this one wants to weasel above $1. Right now, I'm doing the fight with it. It's not giving me what I need. So we're going to pack our patience on this one. A whole lot of volume printing right now on MTEM, ladies and gents. What do we got in terms of volume? Oh, just a light 160 million shares printed on the day, albeit a dollar name. So that kind of does make sense. Up 208% though, guys. Keep your eye out on this one. I'm in it right now.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there. Sharif, our good buddy Greg V from CT over there says, government efficiency, that's an oxymoron.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. You're not wrong, yeah, so good luck. Scott H, as for Soundhound, yeah, is it going to break over 7? You got it now, man. We're printing about $7 and 5 to 6 cents there. But guys, what we do have here cooking up is this TQQs trade. So we're getting this breakout on the overall index here, or the ETF, I should say. We're still down about 0.1%. Let's see if NVDA can pick up some volume and pick up some steam and continue this move to the top side. But one thing I do like, guys, you know I like my volume by time profile. And with this breakout that we picked here, we do have the volume stepping in on the lower time frames. So we are slowly picking up in volume. So that's something that I always want to see. But yeah, we were talking about Disney and stuff, Sharif, and I know they're gaining ground in the stream wars here.
Oh yeah,
sitting in third place. So we got Netflix with 280 million subs, Amazon Prime with 200 million subs, and then Disney with 154 million subs. Finally becoming, I think it was a quarter or two ago, where they started turning a profit in the streaming business.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah.
So I did a bit of a deep dive into these bad boys today. They got a couple of great things going on for them, Joseph. I mean, streaming really picking up. The movies, finally, with the strike being over the whatever strike. Now the issue is they're parks. And the funny thing is, parks were keeping the boat afloat after COVID because everybody was locked up. They want to get out. They want to spend money on experiences rather than goods. That's dried up now. 32% drop year over year for their international. I'm talking about Paris. You know, they got a Disneyland there. Don't they have one in Japan as well?
They got Japan. Yeah. Does China have it? No, I don't. I think China might have one too. But
maybe the chat can fact check us on that.
Yeah, I think China has one too.
Yes.
But I mean, those things are, when it's $10 for a bottle of water, those things are just absolute money printers, you know what I mean?
Well said, exactly.
And I don't know if you have any friends that have kids and they go there, but it's for the pass, it's like $1,000 a day just to like get in the park. Right? For the whole family. It's like insane.
My sister lives in Orange County, right? She's not in Anaheim, but she's close by. So when I go down, you know, sometimes we make a visit there. And it's just to build on your point, dude, you're getting rinsed from the second you enter the park. Whether it's parking right away. You're getting rinsed right away at
Bro, it's like probably like $100 to park your car.
It's insane.
Right? Yeah. So I mean,
Disney Parks,
Disney. Yeah. Why did you park there recently?
Know what we're talking about.
Hey, you didn't park there, no. You
it's the $100 parking. Where are you going?
Where are you going?
You know, but we're exaggerating and make a point. The point is, it's expensive.
It's really.
You guys want me to do VinFast at 11:51?
That's a look. Yeah. So MTEM back into my entry, Joseph. Right now, I've moved up my stop to account for the halt level, so I won't be basing it off VWAP, guys. The halt level was at around 85, or the drop after the halt level. Excuse me, I misspoke. So if it dips below 85, Gonzino, Don't need the stress of the zig and zag. I've accounted for you know, the move. It's either going to take a buck, or I'm not gonna have to deal with this mentally. I got to preserve the mental capital for the other trades. So anything below 85 pennies gone Zeno, but I'm looking at printing the next peak wetter at $1.10. So we'll see what comes from that. Let's have a look at the other trades we've got on at the moment. QBTS. We already wet our beak there at 208, but this one is trying its darndest to hold too. What I'm worried about is the fact that the volume is dropping off, and I don't want the bottom to come off with a big boy seller or someone shorting and then having this one take out 4 or 5 different levels. And if you haven't traded small cap gappers in the past, well, you'll be in for a rude awakening, because sometimes you'll be at that $2 and then you'll find it at 190 quick as you like, because the seller took out all the buy orders in between 2 and 190. That happens often with these small cap gappers. So the way to avoid getting caught in that is to increase the spread on your stop. What do I mean by that? So I'm giving the computer 2 different data points when I enter my stop. One is the triggering price. It's telling the computer sell if it drops below 190. But that's not the only data piece. I got to give it another one. I say sell up to 180. So I give a 10 penny spread between the triggering sell price and the actual limit price. If you have too narrow of a spread between those two, your stop will not get triggered, and you'll see a line on your chart just sitting there, hey, I'm stopped, but I'm not active. So yeah, you got to account for that kind of bamboozlement. Shout out to Sean. On these small cap gappers. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to trade them, make sure you are using sound risk management strategy. The last one over here, I'm still liking this MDXG, still at the 10 exponential, selling off. I'm 8 pennies out of the money on that though. Looking to add though at 85s, but that is no longer the correct level. The only reason I was looking at adding at 885 on MDXG was because that was where the 10 exponential is. It's not there anymore. It's at 90. So I'm adding here. What are you looking at, Joe?
Yeah, beautiful stuff there. I'm just talking to Fugizi Bear in the chat saying, Joe, he says VPA on 1 minute chart, SPY. I'm looking at it. I don't quite see it there, but if with the volume, I mean, above VWAP there, if you're talking about, yeah, absolutely. If you're talking about that 1 minute print around 11:48, then yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's one thing, once you start diving into this and you start to practice it more, it takes time. It's not a skill you're gonna learn overnight, but over time you can potentially learn that like these indecision prints backed by volume or no volume can give you a direction and where the potential asset is going to go. Like what I just seen right here on TQs is fantastic. That's a print that I would want to see right under VWAP after it held, well actually it broke it, but now if it breaks it to the downside, but if I'm looking for a continuation to the top side, then that's something I'm going to want to keep an eye out for there. As for anything else, guys, let me know what you're looking at. Kendall Lopez, I'm still got my eyes on NVDA as well too. As you can see, I'm out of that TQQs trade. It's starting to sell off a little bit, but guys, what you can see on NVDA, and Kendall, I'm glad you pointed this out, is that we're not climbing higher anymore. That buying pressure and that buying volume has now stepped aside, and we're slowly starting to curl over. And if volume steps in, I wouldn't be surprised if NVDA goes and tests the volume weighted average price. But keep in mind, if volume steps in, we can definitely break 149 and continue that northeast trajectory, guys, all right? So, Joe, can you explain volume by time? Yeah, that's simple. So volume by time is just, if my chart is up here, it's just the same volume signature. So it's how many shares are traded in that time frame, right? So you have a 5-minute chart here, and that displays how many shares were traded in that time frame. All right, and it's the same thing with the lower time frame here. It just depicts how many shares were traded in that candle print, all right? So when I say volume by time, it's because we have also VPOC and volume by price as well too, right? So you have the volume point of control that some people use, and it's actually on the other side of the other axis of the chart, but it also depicts where the volume is at most by price, all right? So whatever price has the most volume, you'll see this relative to the price, all right? But when we have volume by time, this displays by each minute how much volume is printed in each candle, all right? So just keep that in mind. It's not that complicated. And this you simply gauge just by eye and using maybe a median here and discovering what the average volume is. And when you have the ability to just look at the chart quick and say, oh, this is average volume, then you have isolated volume signatures like we did on Billy here, then you can be like, hey, this is displaying something to me. This can be a potential turnaround. This can be potential stopping volume. And this you can base a trade on. All right. So, yeah, we're going to do the ad read now with Sharif.
All right, guys, the timing couldn't be better. VinFast has made waves by delivering over 51,000 EVs in the first 10 months of 2024 in Vietnam, outpacing major international competitors and becoming Vietnam's top auto brand. It's an industry milestone. VinFast is now the first EV maker in the country to outsell traditional gasoline cars just 2 years after going fully electric. Globally, VinFast is also on a roll, expanding its footprint in major markets like the US, Canada, and Europe, while breaking into new high-potential regions like the Middle East, Indonesia, the Philippines, and India. With 7 versatile EV models meeting a wide range of market needs, VinFast is making its mark as a powerhouse in the global EV market. It's a major moment for the industry, and all eyes are now on VinFast as they prepare to release their Q3 financial results on November 26, 2024. So stay tuned. I like the look of that blue one. Oh, that's a nice one right there.
Yeah, that's a nice
Anything
one.
Blue, Joseph,
Yeah, you like the blue. Right?
always
blue
gets
guy.
my attention. Dude.
Yeah? The
I
nice
like the
blue
VF9, though. They've got that bad boy up at Yorkdale. It's a bigger car.
Yeah.
It's closer to that, triple-digit
Yeah,
number, but
getting up in there.
it's really nice.
Getting up there, right? Those 6 figs.
Yes, sir.
The 6 figs. We got a question here from Go Haas. Joe, what do you think of a credit spread on MSTR? What kind of credit spread are you looking at? But let's pull up the chart here on MSTR, MicroStrategy. I mean, I like the volume here. There might be other ways to play this trade. When I'm basing a credit-based trade, I want to have like an isolated pivot, definitive highs, or more of a definitive support and resistance zones to place a credit-based trade here. But again, I don't think you could go wrong because we have the heightened volume, and with that comes the increase in volatility, most likely as we have displayed here. But with that comes the premiums. And if we're on the downside, if the ATR of this stock and the implied volatility starts to dwindle and you have a spread open, then you're going to be sitting pretty. So I would look for this strength to continue. It looks like it is right now, but just be wary of these big prints here. Maybe if you have space, I would look at maybe like a maybe even a 315. That might even be tight. Yeah, 305 to 300 bull put. Or maybe a condor on it. But again, I think there's better stocks to trade and put credit spreads based on that. So I don't want to force a trade on you and be like, I don't want to force the trade and for you to open a position that may not work. But if you are going to, and if I was going to, I would look maybe around the 300s. Try to get that to a 1 delta, see what that 0.1 delta is displaying and how much it's offering, and then base a $5 spread off of that. But just keep in mind, one thing I do like, and you have the right idea, is that we have the heightened volatility, so you'll get that premium, and I'm sure enough, over time, it will slowly dwindle, all right? So that's a good look. Don't force the setup. If you want to do a couple weeks out, the lower price you'll get and you'll collect a little bit more premium, but give yourself a little bit more room. There might be a couple more strategies you might want to implement on that front, but I don't hate that one just because from a volatility standpoint, you'll get those increased premiums. So that hopefully that helped. Bull put at 320. Yeah, it's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. If you want to, I would maybe look for a couple strikes down, look for that 0.1 delta, Go Haas, and see what that offers, or maybe go a little bit lower if the premiums are elevated, my friend. What are you cooking?
Man, I'm looking at Google over here. The bleeding won't stop.
Yeah, I know. What's going on?
Holy, I was talking to Gaurav in the chat. Shout out to the OG Gaurav, who's printing up a storm on his shorts today on goggles, 2.5%. But let's put everything in context, guys. Google has been running up quite aggressively since the election. Kind of double topping there, 182. That's an interesting look at that level there. So there was the 31st pop, and then I think that was earnings, right? And then we weaseled down, but got right into that 182. So look at this, 182, a level of importance now on Google, 182, 183. What's operative to me, though, is the higher low situation. So if you were to base it on the local area trough, successively higher lows. Let's go to the daily. and just see how far off. Yeah, we're still well off the highs there at 190 and change. Where did we weasel up to? 191.75 it looked like. Yeah, I'm not seeing much on Google today other than, you know, just some perfunctory EU headlines. Also, Gemini has its own app. I'm sure it's a hell of an app. If it's anything like the LLM, it must be amazing. So we'll have to wait to see exactly what we get from that. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on with Google, guys, but it could be some profit taking. Google's been unusually strong relatively lately, so we'll keep an eye on that. But I'm seeing Tesla here. So I know I'm in the small cap gappers, but let's put some respect on Tesla's name right now. Looks like a double bottom generally at that 317, 316.5. We took out the 10. We took out the 20. We took out VWAP. And now we're taking out the 50. I see possible resistance at 325 just to account for this area trough in the pre. This was another area that we had support at yesterday as well. Look at the afternoon. We found support at 325. We know what happens when support is breached. Sometimes acts as resistance. So if Tesla weasels on up to 325, it could be an interesting short. Otherwise, you could look to take it north from where it currently is, 322.5 into that 325. So TSLA, even though it's down 2.4% on the day, certainly off the lows, about midway here to go into that 325 area we're talking about. To go green, though, it's got to weasel its way above 330, 329.98. That's the HOD on the day, and just a smidge above that is yesterday's closing print at 330 and a fifth. So we're going to keep eyes on goggles over here. We're also putting in what looks like it could be a bit of a rounded top on the monster NVIDIA. I'm not going to call this quite yet, but we are putting successively higher or lower highs and lower lows now with a 4-candle red formation on the 5. We're still above the 20, but it looks like we could be curling down maybe into that 147.75 where VWAP is generally hanging out. There's also another level of support there, the implied balance high that we printed right at 9 a.m. It's exactly at 147.75. So those two levels conflating. Keep your eye out on NVIDIA. Could be an interesting short into at least VWAP. I'm not going to take it, though. Let's have a look at the positions we're doing. Bang on MDGX. Yes, finally we get that top taken out at 9. The buy program looks like it's back on. What's my price on this one now? 95. So we're only 12 pennies in the money. Let's set up another beak wetter at the 10 penny area. I hadn't even layered out any orders on that one yet. BKSY really going here. QBTS not doing much, guys. And I'm back in MTEM because it held the halt level. So I got in at 80 pennies. I've moved up my stop. I'm looking at wetting my beak 85s and the 90s. It's curling up here, but being met with a wall of selling so far into 85 pennies. A reason I like it, the halt levels. And if you've watched me trade these small cap gappers in the past, I told you these halt levels, they act as transitory areas of support and resistance intraday. I wouldn't base anything off them more than intraday, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Boom, we got a print. Let's see if we can go up a little bit higher over here. Where am I waiting? 88s. Okay, so now we're taking out 85s. Let's see if we can continue to ascend a little bit higher here. I'll layer my orders into one. What are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at NVDA and Kendall Lopez. I'm glad that you pointed this out because sure enough, this is exactly what we're getting. You have that diverging volume, and as price was continuing to trade a little bit higher, we're now starting to roll over a little bit. And on the lower time frames, it's slightly picking up. But I do think that we pull back and we test the volume weighted average point price at some point today, right? So I mean, it may not be immediately, but at some point I do think we come down, we test, excuse me, some support levels and continue to move a little bit higher if the volume does step in. And go Haas, how far out would I do a condor? No more than a week or 2 weeks, preferably, because you don't want to get stuck in a market neutral strategy when the market is essentially in a primary uptrend, all right? So guys, make sure you vote, put that in the chat, because you know when it comes at the afternoon rundown, when the boys, Obi and Sean, they're going to go over your stocks. So yeah, we're going to send it over to Adaria.
Time for a little midday happening now. We got the SPY pushing lower here. Look at this weight we gave up, that brief area of support resistance, this kind of range here. Now we're into 595 halves, for that S&P 500. The cues here, down about almost the exact same amount, about 0.3%, but the Q's in a bit more of a range, a little bit of a base here around 10.75, bit of a top at 11.56, so just under a dollar range here on the QQQs. Lots on watch today in the economic data side of things. We did get harder than expected inflation prints for 3 of the 4 PPI prints, though month-over-month PPI non-core was exactly in line with expectations. 9 a.m. we got comments from Fed's Barker, 10 a.m. comments from Fed's Kugler, then we'll get more Fed's comments here at 3 p.m. and it's going to be Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking on the economy. I'm going to be listening to that and giving you guys those updates live, so keep an eye on Mr. Jerome Powell. Now, BIIB, talk about this push up and giving up the entire move here for Biogen, receiving here a positive note on its Alzheimer's drug trial, apparently being recommended for approval there by the EMA, but giving up that entire pop to the upside. Then we have OKLO. We've had some strength in nuclear names today and also some of these quantum names. I know Sharif's been involved here in QU or QBTS. QUBT also strong. But OKLO is also on watch here with a 16.5% short float and its earnings after the bell. And make sure if these or any other tickers are on watch, vote! Exclamation point join, space, $, whatever ticker you're looking at. Let's see what Joe and Sharif are doing over there.
We're talking to Obi. And Obi was letting us know that Disney is continuing to bleed. And he's absolutely right. Fresh lows, Joseph.
Yeah, Bilbo Bagholder said in the chat that if you go to the water park at Disney, you can get rinsed there too. So,
where's your rinse animation? I don't have that. I still gotta take that off.
Rinse.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, hey.
Have you ever been to the wave pool at Wonderland?
Of course, yeah, in the lazy river. It's chaotic. It's war zone out there, though. It's a dog eat dog world.
That's the thing, exactly. So I don't mean to get a little, graphic, Joseph, but I don't really like going on the weekend when there's a lot of kids.
No.
And we all know why.
Well, yeah.
Because the bathroom's far away, Joseph.
It's very far away. Yeah.
You know about that.
Yeah. So
and
yeah,
they don't put that chemical in the water either.
No. You know what? I think after a certain age, you just stop going in there. Oh, geez.
Ram just shafted me by ear right now. She's like, yo, it takes one to know one,
So
bro.
you know what Sharif...
I'm like, why?
You know what
really,
Sharif
Ram? You're a murderer? You don't know about murders? Like, come on.
The man said so himself. The bathrooms are far away. So if you see Sharif in the wave pool, get out. Get out. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah,
Roby.
good times. Yeah. We're just looking... Oh, sorry. Go on.
Do you ever do that Wonderland...
Halloween
what's
Haunt?
it? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Halloween Haunt. It's a good time. You know what I mean? It's a great time. So, yeah, it's a good look.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. We were talking about NVDA here and how it's slowly starting to roll over. And Kendall Lopez, good luck there. The volume to the downside is starting to pick up. And I know you mentioned this morning, Sharif, as well,
sir.
as the first Blackwell. Did you mention who the first Blackwell chip is going to be issued to?
No, I didn't. I don't even know that.
SoftBank. SoftBank, a jab.
I knew that they struck a deal yesterday.
Yeah. So Masayoshi Son, the CEO of SoftBank, also had a large stake in NVDA, a 5% stake that he sold for $4 billion and would be worth now over $180 billion. So
seriously?
Yeah. So that's a tough look for him. Yeah. So I mean, I heard he almost went bankrupt as well too during one of the but he still had a stake in Baba or something like that.
What was the fiasco? The WeWork thing.
The WeWork thing.
And he was doubling down on WeWork thing, and it was just bleeding. And the thing is about WeWork, initially, Joseph, they had a good business model. They were getting all the cheap real estate, commercial real estate, that is, getting it super cheap. Then I forget the name of the dude who's running WeWork. Yeah. The tall, he's got long hair. What's his name, Adara? Adam Newman, I think.
Yes,
Isn't it Adam Newman?
I don't know,
something like that. Anyway, so he started getting very, very expensive real estate in like high-rise buildings in downtown. Their costs went through the roof. COVID hit.
Boom, done. It was it. Yeah, so that's absolutely detrimental to the business. But I heard he was doing some fishy things behind the scene, like leasing. I don't know exactly what was going on. I don't want to get too into it, but he was just doing something weird where he would buy these high rises, but then somehow put it in his name or something like that. It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know necessarily what I'm talking about, but there was some weird things that were going on behind the scenes there. So but we have a lot of WeWork in the city. Do you see them?
We do. I saw them downtown. They actually look nice.
They look fun.
Ping pong tables,
it looks fun. It looks more like, it doesn't really look like a work setting. It looks more like a a game center or something like that. But I mean, hey, it's nice. But
Guys, I got to tell you, though, so in the same way we're talking about a rounded top in NVIDIA, Ram, look at this rounded bottom here on BTCT. This is the one we were talking about, holding the lows, and here it goes. Okay, it's curling up. It took that $19 decisively now. I would submit to you several green candles on the 5-minute, closing above 19. The reason I was basing everything on 19, because that was the top end of the range that we had been in since 9:45 till we broke and took it right at 11:30. It's 12:06 right now. Now we're weaseling into 20, and we're having trouble with the $10 level at 20. And I'm not going to trade this because it's just, it's a $20 name, but it's moving like a $500 name in the sense that it's spread is awfully wide. So you can find yourself at 19.25 and then quickly find yourself in 19.75 in one uptick. So that ain't for me. It's hard to manage risk unless it's really going parabolic. But a range trade, I'm going to have to account for that with the stop, and it becomes a whole thing. So it's breaking out. I'm not going to take it. But if it takes 20, I think we easily see that 21 in the fifth, which is where VWAP is. And then if we get above VWAP, look at this gnarly range that we put in the pre. And let me tell you, there was a lot of volume in the pre. So let's not, disrespect the fact that this price action took in the pre. Look at this bottom end of the range here at $24. We kept bouncing off that level. If we used it for a while as support, it stands to reason that it might act as resistance. That's all, though, predicated upon us taking 20, taking VWAP, and then moving up into 24. So BTCT, the Katina man had this one today. Keep your eye out on it. I'm going to keep my eye on it as well. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking over here at NVDA still. I really want to get an entry on here because I do think 150 is a potential target on the session. I do like the daily here, but one thing that we're going to need is we're going to need some volume to step in. Oops, let's see here. So we're going to need some volume to step in here, I think, guys, in order to do so. But I do like it for kind of this ABCD pattern, like you have the leg up, A, B, C, D, right? So if we can continue to break or continue to move, I think at some point, it may not be today, but maybe in the near future before the earnings report, we sit up on top of this range, and then we can take that break a little bit higher. Is it going to happen today? I don't know. I would definitely want to see a little bit more from the volume by time profile, but we're gonna wait and see. So Scott Edwards, Google ready for a long here, and Obi said he was looking for a potential reversion on that too. I was actually looking at it as well too to see if we could find a potential bottom on it, but I don't see any definitive signals, even though we are slowly starting to curl over, which is fine. But you get this little bit of a volume increase here. I'm not saying that it can't and it won't turn over, but in order for me to classify it as something else, I'm going to need a little bit more confirmation and something to give me more of an idea to base a trade off of. Because as of right now, the market seems like a pretty choppy mess, down about 0.23%. And same with the SPY, down 1/4 as well, too, of a percent. So I want to see a little bit more here.
Katina, man, we're going to need you to push up that price. Man.
Yeah, push up that price, man. What do you got? What do you got there, man?
He's got the food. He's
salad.
got the gym bag. Yeah. He's coming in fast and furious from the gym.
Yeah.
Katina, man, what'd you hit at the gym? Swimming.
The guy's a swimmer. The guy is a swimmer. All right. So yeah, I like this look on Google. It seems pretty weak for the day, but I'm gonna want to see some volume and a little bit more indecision within the candle prints in order for me to kind of take this for a potential move back to VWAP or this support level base here. But as for NVDA, I do think we're kind of sitting in no man's land right now, even though we are slowly crawling higher. But if volume does step in, Sharif, I'm going to look to take a long there, my guy.
I want to talk about GME, guys. It's up only 4 1/3%, but I see you guys talking about it. So let's look at the pattern because it's a good pattern, Ram. Higher lows. Really respectful with the higher low situation. No go, Ram? What? I thought you were talking to me, my bad. So here we go, higher low. We start off the day, where did we print initially at 9:30? So we zig and zag, forget about that. Let's take this from the area trough here that we put in at 10, successively higher lows, also with the higher highs. Now, the bamboozlement comes at the top end of the range, not so much at the low end of the range. Look at the topping tail candles. They're not really at the bottom part of the upward channel, but they're at the top of the upward channel. So I personally would like to get long somewhere near the bottom end of the range. So if you're going to trade GameStop, trade it as an upward channel range rather than a breakout till it gives you proof that it's breaking out. And that's going to have to be accompanied by volume and obviously a break and take of a key level. So we'll keep watching this one. I don't have anything on it today that explains why it's up 4 1/3, but let's look at the 4 hour. This thing's been running up. And whether, you know, it's running up because of the election or whatever, man. I mean, this has nothing to do with the election, but there's obviously interest lately in some of these more meme stocks. Where are we at here? So October, we're at the end of October there. We were basing it at 2050. Now we're in the high end of the 20s. We worked our way lately into that 28.75. We're at 27.5 right now. So not a bad look on GameStop, but played as an upward channel range in my humble submission rather than looking for a breakout. Currently, where I would get in, I don't think I'm going to trade this, but 27.75, maybe if you really want to get in a bit more aggressively in the low 40s with maybe a planned DCA into VWAP. VWAP currently at that 30 penny area. So let me know how it goes if you're going to trade GameStop. But I saw you guys talking about in the chat. Forex, AU, I'm listening. What do you mean? BlackRock increased shares by a stupid amount. Are you talking about GameStop? I think Forex AU, because I'm assuming you are. Yeah, he is. GME. I did not know that. Let's have a look at the ownership. I can't bring this in because we're not sponsored by them. But let me have a look on my screen over here. I want to see exactly who added to this bad boy. Don't you love this thing?
Yeah.
You know about this thing?
Wow. That is, yeah.
Say that again, Fabian. Worksport. Okay, we're sending it up to Adara at the big desk.
Show is brought to you by Worksport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, Worksport. Ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding, with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport.
Thank you very much, Adara. Okay, so just, I can't see that BlackRock added, but that doesn't mean institutions weren't adding. So let me give you a quick synopsis of the ownership, institutional ownership of GameStop so far. So the Vanguard Group, #1 shareholder, they have 6.64%. They have about almost 30 million shares, 29 1/3. And then BlackRock, your point taken there, Forex AU, they're second in terms of right now, and this might not be updated, 21.17 million shares. They account for about 4 3/4%. Then you've got State Street, and then some others under Charles Schwab, Citadel, Jane Street, Van Eck, Mellon Investments. So a lot of institutional ownership with plenty of size, but I'm not seeing that new ad there. The last entry, though, on my platform is October 31st, so probably not updated, but thank you for letting me know. Let me know how your trade goes if you take it on GME, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there. I know someone in the chat said they want us to take a look at Canopy Growth Corp. I mean, this isn't something that I would be trading on a regular from an intraday standpoint, but you're in at 379 if I'm correct there. But I mean, hey, let's see if you can continue a little bit higher. It's definitely a slow burner there. But that's just my look on CGC. There might be other things in play. I don't know what your wheelhouse is if you like trading these penny stocks, but with that, you got Sharif with the small cap gappers. But that's just a slow burner. I wouldn't want to be, I'd be losing more hair than I already am right now just sitting in that thing. So that's not something I would be looking to trade. But I mean, if you're in the money, then congratulations to you. So hopefully that trade works out really well. And I mentioned this about NVDA, and I'll say your name again, Kendall Lopez. Thank you very much. But again, we're just sitting here in no man's land. I want to find a line in the sand here, and that's the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to wait for this to pull back as we can continue to move lower and lower. And that's what the Qs look like they are doing. It looks like we might take a potential new low here as we slowly curl over. But if you ask me, this has just been a complete mess. Look at the daily price action here from the Qs, just inside day, inside day, inside day, and we're still trading in this little bit of a range here, which is good for like credit spreads, market neutral strategies. But as for intraday price action, this isn't something that I necessarily would like to see. And that's just me, totally subjective, right? But again, this is a hot mess. There's definitely better trading. Yeah, there is. No, like, yeah, man, it's a hot mess. Like, you're trying to play the breakout here, it rejects. You're now taking legs lower. Let's see if it makes a lower high or it breaks lower day, which I wouldn't be surprised. But at the end of the day, there's so many other things that are trending. Obi's been trading Disney all day. Shrieve's got the small caps. He's been killing it over there, and MDXG. So there's definitely better looks, and you don't want to try to milk a stone. I'll say that over and over again. Wait for price to come to you and look for orderly price action, right? Like, this is just a choppy mess and something I wouldn't want to take part of, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, I was going to mention something there. Totally forgot. Yes, vote. Sorry about that. Guys, let's see what people are talking about there in the chat. But we're going to show you exactly how to do it right there. It's exclamation point, then type in join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. We have UCS FCU. He wants to talk about MTEM, and more sympathetic, I could not be involved in it right now. He's asking about it. So I think he already voted for it, so I can't tell you to vote for it again. But I can tell you guys who haven't voted to get into the chat right now. We got Cash Now. He's talking about Coin. Coin has been huge lately. Monster, maybe not today, obviously. Bitcoin pulling a little bit back. Get into the chat, my man. Vote for it. We also have Tom H. talking about BTCS. Katina has been in that 2 days in a row now. Get into the chat. Vote for it, my man. Let me know what you think about it, and then the big kahunas will let you know what they think. We got Daddy Gator. He wants to talk about Omar, O-M-E-R. We talked about that one right at the top of the show. It's been boring me to death, so I haven't got in it. But maybe it does something. Get into the chat, my man. Vote for it. We got Kenneth Molina talking about Diz. He's saying, tried to break down, got bottom at 109.40. Shout out to you. Looks like you're taking that long. The OB, he is the one, Kenobi, looking to take that bad boy short, possibly to the low day. Vote for it, and he'll explain why. I'm assuming he thinks it's still a short. So get into the chat, guys, every day. The big kahunas do their thing at the desk from around 2 to 2:30. They look at the tickers as decided by you, but only the top 5 make it on. So make sure you're persuading your friends to vote your way. Let's have a look at these small cap gappers, see what they're up to at the moment over here. We were waxing poetic about BTCT, to use an Adair term there, but this one did reject $20. However, it is now looking like it's using that initial area of resistance of 19, possibly as support. So if it does that, then does it do that stair step up where it breaches its resistance, uses it as support, then breaches that next level of resistance, uses it as support? You can't tell that from one perfunctory 5-minute candle, but we can keep an keep an eye about watching it. So we'll see. Right now it's got $19 support, $20 resistance, kind of in the same way that it had 19 and 17 previously. So keep your eye on BTCT, could squeeze. But yeah, it probably has something to do with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin starts pumping, or crypto in general starts pumping, this could really go. Where's Bitcoin right now? We're at 88. We're at 89. Yeah, we're at 88,927. So yeah, we're down only 1%, Joseph. And I think we can all stomach that, seeing exactly where this bad boy has been as of late. So yeah, I think a 1% drop in a day is completely acceptable. What else we got over here? Why is Nikola down 20.5%? Oh wow. Okay, here. Oh, so there's a filing. So Nikola's down 20.5%, guys, and this is kind of the look here. Nikola filed a Form 8K, direct or off balance sheet financial obligation with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on the 14th, which is today. The information related to the modification of the conversion price of the notes contained in, all right, whatever. Okay, so I'm not going to read this live, but the market not liking it. Nikola down at day's low, 242 right now, big drop. 20.5%, Joseph. So NKLA, just going through my watch list on the side here, seeing there's any outlying names that are down or up big on the day, and that one caught my attention. So just letting you guys know about that one. But nothing else really doing here. We took another print there on QBTS, but it's right back into that $2 level again. So we'll have to pack our patience to see if we can do a little bit better on this one, Joseph.
Yeah, I'm over here just taking a look at NU. I'm just seeing what we got for top volume stocks on the session here, and I'm over here looking at NU. Trying to pull up the chart here. Apologize, but I just seen it on my scanner, and I was just going over some top volume picks. So we have NVDA, SMCI, NU, Tesla, and LUNR Lunar. So those are the looks. I'll see if I can. I don't know why it's not. Anyways, yeah. So again, I mentioned earlier in the session, guys, about NVDA before I decided that I wasn't going to take a long up here. That we were somewhat sitting in no man's land. We're starting to pull into an area that I would like to see. So let's see if we can hold VWAP, and then maybe I'll look to take a long on it. But again, just to touch back on NU, they reported. I think last night. So, I mean, this thing's still down 7.7% on the session. Not something I would be looking to trade intraday, especially because the price action isn't over orderly. So I'll stay away from that one. But I do want to keep my eye here on Google for a potential turnaround. We're down about 2.5% on the session. But the one thing that's crawling lower and lower is NVDA. So again, let's see if we can hold 147.80s, and then maybe we'll look to take a long, or we'll look for some indecision candle prints here around or just below VWAP, and then maybe we can get a little bit of a bounce back to the top side. But again, I mentioned this earlier. In order for us to continue higher until we for price to appreciate, we're going to need that volume to step in, and it just didn't. It totally fell off a cliff here, and now you can see that selling pressure is starting to step in a little bit, which is totally fine, and I thought that would be the case as price slowly rolled over here, and now we're going to go and test VWAP. And I mean, the markets are going to go test lows of days today as well too. SPY has already made a new low a day and currently making new ones. And then let's see if the Qs are going to go and test them as well. I know someone in the chat mentioned Meta, and I haven't really looked at Meta today. And they're saying that it was around VWAP as well too. So I mean, down 0.5% isn't horrible, but just look at this daily price action. It's tough. You get those big days, but you don't get any really continuation throughout those days, right? So you get a decent move there, consolidation, and then you get that big move up there again from 573 to 590s. But then we're starting to pull back a little again. I want to see this continuous. I want to see day after day, which would be nice. Unfortunately, it's not always the case. But when I see something trending, this is what I want to see. As of right now, this is just a lot of noise and prices chopping around, kind of making market neutral strategies more appealing than what they were previously when the market was trending higher. And I mentioned that about the Qs as well too. But keep in mind, we have NVDA reporting, I believe, next week on the 20th or the 22nd, either or. So keep in mind, because depending on how the street looks at that report, then it might move the market. And I mentioned this time and time again, in order for us to continue to crawl higher, we're going to need all these big mega caps to start participating. But as of right now, this choppy mess that we see as in Apple, in Google, and Meta, I don't see the market going too much higher right now. And Sharif, you mentioned this earlier. It's like one day a couple of them are trending, the next day the other are trending. So we need everything kind of to move in sync and move together, or a majority of them anyways, to continue higher. But I do think we chop around a little bit here for until at least the NVDA report comes out.
Yes, sir. And speaking of NVIDIA, great segue there, Joseph. It's at VWAP.
Yeah, it's at VWAP.
So this could be an interesting opportunity. Let's have a look at the chart over here. So rounded top, should have taken this trade. I mean, this was a mistake, obviously, but I was focused on the small cap gappers. But hey, it's at a key level now. And we also talked about why VWAP was important, because it happens to conflate with the implied balance high, right at 147.80. So there's the implied balance high, which is at 9:30 print, spike and drop. That's exactly the high of that candle, is 147.77. VWAP currently, 147.83. You guys get it. So interesting. Here, let's take a page out of Neil's playbook there and basically say I'm going to get in on this one if on the back end, meaning that it's got to prove to me that VWAP is a level of importance. The implied balance high is a level of importance. This is not the implied balance high. I misspoke. I'm sorry. This is the top of the 930 range. The implied balance high is the up to 1030, the high and the low. Excuse me. So I misspoke there. But if it proves that it's going to hold up at VWAP, starts to curl, throws it in a green candle or two, going to get long on NVIDIA. You know, we could see 150 today if the market really picks up. The NQ's down right now, about 0.4. Same thing with the ES, are kind of shadowing one another, 0.42, 0.45 for the other one. The Dow not far ahead of, or not much ahead of them, a third of a percent. So if the markets go green, NVIDIA certainly hold up green right now. It's trying to work its way back above 148. So it is, at least for the moment, a 2-candle hold up at the volume weighted average price, up 1.14%. Yeah, let's keep an eye on this one. Let's throw in some RSI too on this one, Joseph. Where are we going to, do I have RSI up on this bad boy? No, I don't. So I'm going to have to actually, there it is. Where it is it? Let's have a look at this bad boy over here on the 5-minute.
Here.
Yeah, we're midpoint. That's the thing. We're midpoint. 40 coming. Yeah. So not much doing there in terms of technicals from the RSI. I don't even really use it for that. The NOS boss, when he was over, I mean, he really tried to drill this into a lot of us right now. He's like, look, price action, RSI divergence. It's not the only way to use it. Obviously, you can use it for overbought, oversold. But he's like, look, when you see the higher highs on the price action, you see lower highs on the RSI. That's kind of what to be alert for there. Yeah. So there you go. Kind of dancing right now at 148. I'm not going to jump into this. It's going to have to prove to me that this is a holdup. So we'll pack our patience on this bad boy and see exactly what we get there. Let's flip to some others though and see what they're up to, because we were talking about Tesla VWAP earlier. Nope. So it rejects the 50 exponential at 323 and right back down now, breaking below 320. So this one looking awfully weak on the day. It's really the dead one here that's awfully strong. But I would submit to you it's found resistance at 227. And that has been the range for a hot minute. Now, the other side of that coin is we got higher lows with a flat top. So 227, essentially resistance generally on AAPL. But when you look at the lows, they're all successively higher than their predecessors. So ascending wedge, possibly on the dead one Apple. We'll see if we get a nice up move here. Man, I'm going to tell you something right now. We weasel back into highs. I'm taking some off the table.
Yeah, I think
I haven't taken anything off the table.
Yeah, well, you said this is the longest you've ever held something. A year.
In addition to that, it's the longest I've ever held anything. In addition, I haven't taken anything off. So it's also the longest one I haven't taken anything off from.
So we'll just call you diamond hands.
Not even, bro. This is going to be paper hands because I'm going to wait for that 237. I'm going to find it at 197.
Yeah. Well, probably
Hopefully not.
But I mean, hey, man, I was thinking about doing the same thing too. So I was looking to maybe lock in some of those gains and then allocate that to something else and see what else is it. But again, I don't know if we're getting anything really at a discount. Oh, but what I did look at was that AMD's PE has, as well as the price, has drastically fell. So now it's starting to become priced into more of a range where the street may think it is acceptable. Hence why you see it kind of chopping around the 140s area, the 139. So sitting around 25 for forward.
That's it?
So, yeah.
Hold on, AMD's sitting at 25?
Yeah.
Dude, wasn't it 250?
It was at 200. So as the price came down, so did the PE, obviously, right? So, is it 124? Or maybe I read it wrong. Yeah, okay,
Still half.
It's still half of what it was. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I didn't think it came down. So yeah, 124. I was mistaken there, but again, cut in half as the price started to depreciate as well too. But we'll send it to Adara. Yeah,
Just note here, I'm seeing a bit of a pop-up here in FSLR. Let's see if there's any other solar here on watch. It's also worth noting the reason I wanted to throw here right now. So solar really pushing up here. That's end phase. Nice pop-up in solar, but I also have TSLA on watch here. Reuters reporting that the Trump transition plans to kill that $7,500 consumer tax credit for EVs. So looks like the Trump administration coming through in January 2025, according to Reuters, will be looking to cut off that $7,500 consumer tax credit for EVs. So maybe not a good look for some of these EV companies. Also, nice spike in solar, guys.
Yeah, see, this is where I got this from. See, so I was sitting around like 28 forward PE here now, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
I see different numbers all the time, so I'm not gonna hold you to that.
Exactly.
Guys, we're doing real well here on MDXG. I've got my beak wetter set up at 14, and hopefully we get printed soon. We're 14 on the ask, 13 on the bid. We're long at 91s. It's a good trade so far here on MDXG. This is the one I was submitting to you guys, was likely a buy program. Doesn't look like that anymore because it's whiffling and waffling right now. But this is what it looked like earlier. And it was an uninterrupted symphony of green candles on the 5. I need to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Green candles in a row. The volume bars corresponding as well. Let's see did we get that 14 print? Bang! We got the 14 print, baby. How many more outs do we have here? Yeah, we still got 3 more outs. Okay, so we're gonna let this one run a little bit more. 914 HOD right now. It's awfully respectful of that 10 exponential moving average. Looking to move up a little bit more over here on MDXG. And in case you're just joining us and haven't heard me yell about this one from earlier, I will yell you about it right now. Here are the details on it. It's a $1.34 billion market cap, so it's not a small cap gapper. They are a biologics company. If you don't know what biologics are, it could be the future of, well, not the future of medicine, because I think we're going to move by, but it essentially doesn't use chemicals, it uses your own body's reaction. 3.25 million shares traded on the day with a float of 144 million shares. And let's find out what the short float is on this bad boy, MDXG. It is 2 3/4%, so not much to speak of in terms of a short float there. But speaking of small caps, we now have Adara at the big screen, the small cap recap.
Thank you, Sharif. Actually, MDXG is going to be on there, so thank you, Sharif, for going over that one in advance, and congrats on that trade. We're going to start here with the IWM, the Russell 2000. We looked at this last around 10:30, and we were, as of that point, holding on to that 234 level, though there were lower highs and lower lows. Right now, we're down 1% on that Russell, and we're actually below 233. So lots of weakness coming through for the small cap sector there, or index. Let's take a look here at AGFY. So worth noting, this one just popped up. We're under 1 million shares last time I checked, so be careful. Not as much volume on this one, but this one got a pop here. No new catalyst from today, but 2 days ago it announced its acquisition of Senorita, which is this THC beverage brand. So I bring this up because this could be a potential cannabis play here. It's also worth noting because the float is very small, 835 shares for AGFY, which has popped in the past. Also, which has rallied in the past year with a small float, is UAVS, Ag Eagle Aerial Systems. This thing has a 180,000 share float, 55% of which is sold short. So tiny float, huge market cap for UAVS, which trades on the Amex. Yesterday morning, they regained compliance with listing standards, and then this morning they announced they have 17 new purchase orders for their drone. Also, Sharif already mentioned this, so shout out and congrats to Sharif for that. But MyMedX here, MDXG, up nicely here. The catalyst involves here providing the update on their local coverage determination. So apparently raising some treatment application amounts here, I guess positively received by the market for MDXG. Now back to Sharif, who's actually trading this name, and make sure whatever ticker you're looking for, get in that chat and vote. Exclamation point, Twain, space, and your $ of choice. Or, yeah, that's on the screen. Sorry, guys.
You're good, Adara. Joseph, what's going on with Boeing, bro?
Yeah, so I was just looking into some BA news as well, too. I didn't find the article that you actually, here we go, hires North Corp executive to revamp Pentagon projects. So again, this thing is absolutely tanking. I thought there would be a potential bottom, especially when that new CEO came into play. But it's just continuing to make new lows here on the session. So I was saying to Sharif, man, what a tough stock to be in and continue to hold, especially it's just been selling. I don't even know from a percentage standpoint how much it's down off its all-time highs, but it is absolutely doing brutal. Do you see anything other than the hires new Northrop executive to revamp Pentagon projects? What else do you see on there,
Separately, Boeing has begun notifying workers who will be laid off as part of the 10% workforce, or 17,000 jobs in the coming months. The cuts are far-reaching. No, we already had priced that in. I think the only thing new, Joseph, is exactly what you just said.
So yeah,
Colin Miller guy.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess they don't like him. I guess they're like, who is this guy and why did we hire him? So this is what the street is looking at the stock. But again, like,
what is Phantom
like absolutely dismal. Like I don't know, man. If you're still holding on to this, if you're bag holding Boeing, just get out of it, because this thing doesn't seem to want to put in a bottom. Like, just consecutive red day after red day. The volume's starting to pick up as we can continue to sell, and it's just not holding any of these levels. We have no isolated pivots. We just have this big volume stepping in here, and then the stock just totally rejecting that and continuing to the downside. So that's the look on Boeing. It's still continuing to sell, down only 1.8% on the session. But at this point, it's like, I don't know how much longer you're going to hold on to this thing. because at this point, you are absolutely bag holding, my friend. What do you got going on there?
Okay, guys. So this Phantom division over here, this is their Department of Defense division. So it's kind of, if you're into aviation like I am, you know what Skunk Works is. It's from Lockheed Martin. It used to be run by this brilliant man named Kelly Johnson back in the 60s. This is their version of that. This Phantom Works over here, Fabian. This Phantom, Colin Miller, coming from Northrop Grumman, which we know, I believe, makes the F-22, and I think maybe even in the F-35 as well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know that Northrop Grumman is almost exclusively defense. So this dude, Colin Miller, is coming in, I guess, to shore up their defense division. He has nothing to do, I don't think, with the regular, 737, 787s. So this is what I'm getting. So their Phantom Works division is an advanced research and development unit focusing on innovation and creation of cutting-edge aerospace and defense technologies. It operates something like Skunk Works division, dedicated to rapid prototyping, secret projects, and high-tech solutions for military and government clients. I kind of like that. I mean, nobody likes belligerencies, but let's call a spade, man. The world and countries are rearming. Okay, and so you gotta be able to have companies that are gonna provide them with stuff. So I don't know. I think this is interesting. I don't know why the market's selling off on this, but Boeing can't seem to do anything right lately. So maybe that has something to do with that. Down 1.8%. The Katina man was letting us know that this is 52-week lows.
Yeah.
Let's have a look here, Joseph. Let's do some technical analysis on the daily, figure out what kind of support level we could be getting into here. Wow.
There's nothing, bro. It's
garbage.
horrible. Yeah,
Guys,
it's an absolute dumpster fire.
It's hot garbage. Let's go to the weekly, Joseph, because I can't see nothing from this one. Okay, so we got a double bottom of note at 120. So 120 will be very interesting. This double bottom, guys, this goes from June and May of 2022 to September and October of 2022. We double bottom, neckline was 173. So 120 could be an interesting level on Boeing, man. But wow, that's hot flaming garbage. Look where this was January 19. 450. I mean, they were doing well. This is an island gap. The Katina man has been talking about island gaps lately, and I love that, obviously. Yeah. Look at that island gap there and the gap down, consolidation, then blood on the streets, Joseph. So 120 is going to be an interesting level for me, so much so that we're going to put an alert out at 125 because I could be interested in that at that level. So weakness on Boeing, no doubt about it.
You would buy Boeing at 120?
With a stop.
You would?
With a stop.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree on the buy on Boeing, but what I want to see is a couple solid quarters to reflect
Don't
the
disagree
buy,
with that.
Right? So you want to see, we want to see some quality quarters in 100%. Here, and then maybe exceed on deliveries, something along those lines, and maybe we'll take a look at it too. Because again, they have next to no competition. There's only Airbus really they so it's like, okay, you guys got to get it together because. Why? You have no competition.
Can I say something to you? I feel
absolutely.
like these airline companies and these airline manufacturers have become the new utility companies. We can't live without them, but they can't seem to make any money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Which is crazy because to fly anywhere costs an arm and a leg. So I mean, I don't know, guys, but we're over here. We're over here in Google. It's starting to work out. Yeah, it's starting to curl. It's starting to curl over a little bit. I didn't get the best entry on it. But again, if I got a little bit lower here, then that would be nice. But I think I'm not looking for a complete reversal in this trade, but I am looking for a little bit of a pullback. If we can touch 175, 50s, then that will be amazing, or 175 even as well too. But other than that's my look there. I expect this to be a little bit slower of a burn and a little bit more of a grind. But as of right now, we're starting to turn around a little bit. The market is as well too. Putting in a nice signal there for a potential turnaround, guys, because that's exactly what we're talking about, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get into that. I'll jump into the lesson, but is there anything you want to touch on first?
Yeah, I'm just going to mention exactly what's going on here. Apple is breaking out, guys. Huge breakout above 227. Big boy candle over here. This is a 5-minute candle. So 227.67. The dead one broke out aggressively above that 227, and we had earmarked 227 as an obvious level of resistance because it had been rejecting that level since 10:30. We get the break at 12:35. So 2 hours of consolidation, then you get the break and take. Look, Apple up on the day, but I have my reservations about this and the problem. And Joseph is astutely pointing out that the volume is increasing on the dead one, and it's increasing midday. Great observation, homie. Good look there, so we'll keep an eye out on that. I like the Google trade. I'm also interested again in NVIDIA. Just to labor this super quick before you start the lesson. Yes, we did give up the ghost at 147 on NVIDIA, but I've seen this story before where we breached technically VWAP and then we make a move like we didn't even breach it and move to the high side. So I'm very interested on a recovery on NVIDIA, despite the fact that it's below VWAP, Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there from Sharif, as always, guys. And we're talking about breakout volume, so let's get right back into it and close this lesson off in the day, because what we just seen on Apple is perfectly and a perfect example of what we're going to get into right now. So analyzing volume by time signatures, igniting volume, all right? Seeing a significant volume increase through support and resistance levels that can be classified as igniting volume, and that's exactly what just happened with Apple. As you see the volume starting to increase, you can call it what you will, but this is igniting volume as it breaks out, that volume steps in, all right, guys? So stopping volume, a prime example of my Billy trade this morning, all right? So identifying stopping volume can be recognized at extremes. Look for indecision price action prints at highs or lows with isolated volume signatures, all right, guys? So that's the look on analyzing igniting volume and stopping volume, all right? So here's a prime example, and I sound like a broken record talking about this Tesla pattern all the time, but look what happens when we break this resistance level. The volume steps in and price starts to appreciate, all right, guys? So displayed on the daily chart below, you can identify volume stepping in at key resistance zones and continuing throughout the breakout, okay? So keep that in mind there, guys. You get the volume. That's what if you're a breakout trader, you want to see that igniting volume start to step in, and then we can continue that move higher and higher, all right, guys? So now stopping volume, mentioned before. So as displayed on the chart below, sorry, spelling error, the stock gapped down, then printed a large daily price action candle and large volume signature. This can be classified as stopping volume. So we have a big gap down here on Meta, and with that volume, with the volume supporting it, and then it didn't even look back. The stock didn't breach the lows. It continued to go higher and higher. So look for stopping volume at extreme highs and lows, and then sure enough, you can base trades on it exactly like I did with Billy this morning. So isolated pivots. Sharif was just talking, him and Katina were talking about island gaps. Perfect. We're going to go over a couple right now. Isolated pivots are a great signal to be able to identify on multiple time frames. Wow, Google is absolutely ripping here to the top side. I love it, guys. I'll finish this slide and then we'll get back into it. We might cut this a little short, but we'll read this slide. So isolated pivots are a great signal to be able to identify on multiple time frames. Locating isolated pivots at extreme highs and lows are very key. At potential peaks in a technical trend, look for the isolated pivot to consist of a higher high than candles on either side, as well as higher lows on candles on either side, all right? So at potential troughs in a technical trend, look for the isolated pivot to consist of lower lows than candles on either side, as well as lower highs as the candles on either side, all right? These signals can indicate a possible turnaround in price. Correlated with isolated volume signatures, this can give you more conviction in the possible reversal in price. All right, guys? So let's look at some of these here, some island gaps that we were referring to. Here you have on Uber, absolutely fantastic there. And then look, price doesn't even look back here. You have the volume backing it behind, and then boom, you get that move higher and higher. All right, so that's just one example of things that you want to look at there. We skipped one. So we had another one here on Microsoft, just all alone, all by itself, and then sure enough, it trades higher, doesn't even breach this gap, or doesn't even breach the low, doesn't even come close to it, and continues to move higher and higher, all right? So these are things that you can base trades off of, and we have one here, and I talked about this Amazon trade that I use via puts. I started selling puts to fill this gap, so I was using multiple strategies essentially at once to make this trade here on Amazon, but we have this isolated volume signature with these candles that can signal, hey, that the stock is eventually ready to turn around, all right? So here's another one on Google. This one I did a bear call spread on this one because I didn't think that the price was going to continue too much lower, filled about 50 to 60% of that gap to the downside. But here we have an isolated signature, and then at an extreme, we have that hammer doji or a hanging man at an extreme high, and then you get that pullback. but then that thesis is essentially dead at the break of that, all right? So being able to identify these types of pivots in daily charts or any time frames is going to give you a lot of conviction and can be highly potential risk to reward trades that you can take extreme advantage of, all right, guys? So you see them all over the place, and they happen at earnings or big news events, big catalytic news events, all right? So keep an eye out on those, and you can base monster trades on them, because some of my best trades have been based off of these VPA signals, guys. So if you have any questions for me, and here's another one, an absolute monster one on AMD, and the boys and I were talking about it in the back from a while ago, but this is from earlier in the year. You see AMD that went on that monster run all the way up to 200 plus, and then put in this candle here, this shooting star doji, whatever you would like to call it, and then just hasn't recovered since, all right, guys? So that is the lesson of the day. Hopefully you guys learned something from VPA. I mean, look up the book, Anna Cooling's Volume Price Analysis. You read that, you're gonna have a fantastic time reading it. It's a great read, it's not boring, and it just adds so much dynamic to your trading. I don't think I would be where I'm sitting now if I haven't read that book, because it just adds so much conviction into price action and allows you to identify what the price is telling you and what volume is telling you at certain peaks and troughs, my friend. What do you got cooking up there?
I'm in Google and I'm kind of regretting it.
Oh, no.
Yes, but I'm going to be looking at adding at 3/4. Yeah, I got in literally at the top, and now it's dropping. So it looks like it's a 175, 20 exponential retracement. Guys, chart. I was looking at this one. I like the curling pattern. I thought, you know, we could work up into maybe 176 at the volume weighted average price, but it looks like it was a short to pop kind of situation. So I've already put my stop out on this. We'll see if it ends up stopping me out or what, but we're going to keep this one on watch. Let's see what it does here at 75s, because 75s was a level that I wanted to possibly add if it gave up the ghost, and it certainly did right now. The reason I like 75, because you have a couple of area crests here that it held up at. So let's pack our patience. Let's see if we work our way into 75. 75 also happens to be the 10 exponential. So if it holds up here, that'd be interesting. The future's continuing to bleed though, so I don't have a whole lot of, this is a tough one right here. Bad entry into Google. Should have just stuck with the small cap gappers. We just got stopped out. So that's the way it is. You win some, you lose some. So that's the way it is. So we're gonna keep an eye out, see if Google
I
wants
got hit break even there too. I only got a couple partials, and then I came back.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dumbass trade by me today, and that's just the way it is. So shout out to Big Spile. Finally, he's back in the chat. Where you been? Let's see what he says. So there will be blood, says Big Spile. Oh, I'm shocked. Shocked that he feels that. The Piper, you're up, so reversal now. Shout out to him. SMCI says Lexter 001. What was it, Fabian? I didn't hear you.
Trade the pool.
Trade the pool.
Yeah.
Am I doing it?
Yeah. That's all right. No, that's all right.
Okay.
It's over there.
Sorry?
See if we can get Sean to hand that sheet.
No.
That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry. We got it. All right. We'll take care of it.
Okay, so what we're going to do, let me know when we're ready for that, okay?
The sheet, the trade the pool.
It's fine. I got it right here, brother. It's fine. It's all good. All right, trade the pool. Ever wish you could trade without risking your own savings? With Trade the Pool, you can trade real shares using company capital, meaning you're not risking your own funds. And here's how it works. You choose the evaluation according to the account size that you'd like to manage. It's from $20,000 to $260,000 in buying power. Once you meet the profit target, you become a funded trader, and you start trading with Trade the Pool's capital. And the best part? You keep up to 80% of the profits. It's literally a game changer, especially for traders looking to bypass that pattern day trader rule, PDT, and access capital without the usual hurdles. So head on over to tradethepool.com and check it out. You'll see exactly why traders are loving it. So wow. Good look there. I'm happy I got stopped out of Google where I did, because the blood continues to shed as we move into lows here on goggles. 174 and a third is the low of the day. Could we find a bounce off that low? The futures also at lows, 21,018. Wow. So this could be interesting here, especially if we bounce off that 21,000 area. Microsoft just tanked from 428 down to 421. Something's going on with Microsoft. What the hell is going on here with Microsoft? 1246, here it is. This is it right here. Microsoft, Xbox, consumer data concerns. Okay, not good. Microsoft just tanked $7 in one 5-minute candle. Can it be that? What the hell is this? This is not it. This is some stupid lawyer crap that's trying to solicit people for their class action lawsuits. That can't be it, man.
Who plays Xbox anyways?
That's funny. But I don't know. Adara, do you have anything on Microsoft? Okay, well, Microsoft just dropped big. Recovering right now, though, guys. Big move up back into 424. What a move down for Microsoft. This is what I'm looking at right here in case you're wondering why I was yelling. We're at 428.17. We dropped into 421.10 in one 5-minute candle. That has to be news related. I still don't have any. Oh, here it is coming in. U.S. regulators plan to investigate Microsoft cloud business. We know that to be Azure. It is their biggest moneymaker. This is interesting, reported by the Financial Times. U.S. regulators plan to investigate Microsoft cloud business, and we bled $7 to the downside, still trading near the lows right now, 423. Big move down here for Softy, now down 0.5%, Joseph.
Yeah. So now, as you mentioned that, Sharif, and it continues to tank, it's only a matter of time until you buy this stock, because this could be an absolute nothing. In my opinion, because what are they gonna look into the cloud service for? What is their? I don't know. Anyways, but again, I think it's just noise at the end of the day. So this could be a potential good time to buy the stock. It is filling. It has filled that daily gap as well too. Let's keep an eye on that. But one thing that I do like here, Sharif, is that we do have NVDA with the inability to create new lows here, just hovering around the volume weighted average price. So let's see if we can start popping back up, and then maybe we break and we can continue to that top side. But as I mentioned earlier before in the session, guys, the Qs are an absolutely hot mess, down 0.5% on the session. But look, it sells off, Microsoft tanks, just bids right back up. So it's a little bit of a choppy look here on the Qs and some of these tech stocks. But again, Microsoft is still absolutely just roaring to the downside here. I'll pull it up on my chart so we can get on some of this action. But I mean, I'm not going to just chase this price action pattern, even though the volume is stepping in. And look how significantly higher it is. So this is something that we want to see. We have the volume backing up this move. So the effort and result is there, guys. So, I mean, I'm not going to chase it here. I would be personally a buyer of this at any lows. But we still got to sit here and wait and see what's going on, because this volume is absolutely picking up, and it's picking up extremely heavy on Microsoft. So there might be some potential plays. And if it does want to rebound, expect the market to rebound with it, because Apple, the counterpart, is sitting in second spot. Yeah, exactly. It's totally on one. Just about to make new highs of days here, sitting around $227. Going to push for that 228 on Apple, which I think is going to come momentarily. But we got this volume falling off, guys, and you know I don't like that. So let's see if we can continue to move higher, and then maybe we can base a trade off that. But Microsoft's starting to recover right now, as I thought it would. But Sharif, with Microsoft and Apple moving a little bit higher, what's our good buddy NVDA, Jensen, doing? Not too much. But again, maybe you know what we do?
Yes.
This is what we do right here, Sharif.
Okay.
Right there.
There you wet your peak,
yeah,
baby.
Exactly. We're going to get in there because we have a little bit of it. We have some definitive lows. But here we go, guys, with Apple pushing in for this 228 here. The volume stepping in. I'm not in this, but hey, we're going to look at it because the volume's stepping in, and we're going to go push 228, and then let's see what some potential next targets can be. There's nothing really distinctive because we are at some support here, but let's see if we can go push 228.5s next, and we'll go to the $0.50 to see if that's where the street thinks fair value sits.
I'm trying. I'm in the process, Joseph, of exacting revenge on Google. Ooh. I'm long 69s. I've wet my beak a couple of times, 82s, 95s. Now I'm waiting at 98. It just got to 98. It didn't cross. So there's resistance at 75. I like to hold up at 174.50 on goggles. So that's why we're long. Let's see if we can print above that $0.50 and take a $0.25 there. GOOGL also caught a bit of a bid. Now, there's a couple of things that can happen here. I mean, this could be a nothing burger and just more of an algo reaction, or we could start seeing some antipathy plays, as Adara has been saying lately. Shout out to Adara. Basically, what we're looking at here, we've got three big boys in the cloud game. We all know who they are. It's Google, It's Microsoft and it's Amazon. So if Microsoft's going to bleed, well, then maybe Amazon and maybe Google catch a bid. And which of the three has been growing the most lately? I will submit to you it is Google Cloud, growing at 30-some-odd% when the others have been struggling to grow in the double digits. So we took out that one at 98. So we're nicely in the money now on goggles. I'm going to set up at the north side here of 175 because we're still not printing anything above 175. Then I'm going to sit at 15s. And the reason I'm going to sit at 15s, Joseph, is because we had a bit of a rejection there at 10. So if we can make another higher high, well, then that'd be interesting. And I could even be persuaded to add if we get above that $0.25 level. So let's see what goggles does here. It has all sorts of resistance right now with the 175. Unsurprising there. Let's see if it crosses and we're able to get some out at 05s, 02s, 03 showing up now, 04s on the bid. There's 5, didn't cross, so I didn't get printed. 5 back again right now on the level 2, but yeah, we're still not printing there. So packing my patience. Tesla also off lows, but the monster of the day is the dead one, Apple. It is at 228.17, essentially the high of the day, breaking out aggressively through that 227 flat top that we had been putting in an hour and a half worth of work on. So we'll keep tabs there. Microsoft still red, hanging out at 423. I'm unsure how to play this. And maybe the way to play it is to not touch it at all.
Yeah, that's definitely
because
a play.
this, I don't have levels, Joseph. The only thing I see here are possibly that consolidation area in the pre, right around 424 to 423 and 3/4. But this candle right now, an inside red candle. So let's see if we can get some more. Yeah, some more data here. What's your look on this volume bar?
You
here?
see, that's the exact same thing. That's what I was just going to point out here, Sharif, is that I would want to see that candle slightly more isolated, right? So I would want to see this kind of open at the lows there and see what we can do. But again, one thing that I don't mind is that the volume is backing it. But see, the problem is that the wick, your RVR isn't really there because of how long this wick is and how deep this move was to the downside. But we do have this volume signature that I will keep an eye on. But if it fails to break this low, potentially look for it to crawl and drag a little bit higher. But again, I don't like that 5-minute print. I would like to see this candle print a little more isolated than what it currently is. But I mean, Rivian Millionaire said in the chat it's not going to affect the bottom line, and I totally agree with you. But here, as you can see now, guys, we're getting that thesis. We're talking volume price analysis today, and sure enough, what we went over was isolated volume signatures. But again, this can give you a signal. But one thing that I would be looking for is I want to see that candle print, that 5-minute print, a little more isolated than what it is. But again, as you can see, we are starting to aggressively pull back. And that's what happens when you have these big volume spikes.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm going to slow it down here. Took a little beak wetter there at goggles at 175 just to de-risk a little bit more. But I want to look at the other trades that I've had on MDGX. So right now, how much... Let's see the situation here on MDGX. Yeah, a couple more outs on this one. It's back into my entry. So I'm long 91s. That's going to be the end of the trade right there. So we'll take out that as it breaks down. So we'll give back a few pennies there on the last remaining amount, but profitable on the name still. MDGX breaking down. QBTS breaking down. So these small cap gappers, today at least, very weak in terms of continuity, breaking down below key levels and unable to take out key areas of resistance. So I'm going to look to set up a little bit differently on some of the other ones, maybe, if they show up. Let's have a look at the scanner, the old trusty scanner over there, see what anything new has shown up. No, everything is kind of recycled. Nothing new for a small cap gapper. So then we'll focus on these large caps because they seem to be moving at the moment. Still below 175 though on Google. Trying to pack, where is it? Trying to pack my patience there. There we go. Now we're a little bit above it. Let's see if we can close above it though, because we wicked above 175. But that selling seems to come in quite aggressively at that $175 area. Now I was looking at my outs, and I had outs at 05s. I canceled that. I moved it up to 15s. Bang, let's go. 10s, 11s. Bang, there we go. We take out 15s. Let's set up now at 33s. At the third of $1. Let's hang out over here. Let's see if we can ascend. Now, that by definition, we got to take out this area crest that we printed at 45 after 11. And so that could prevent us from ascending even higher. And I'll submit to you that that level is 22s. We didn't quite make it up to 22s. We got into 20s there, and then we got a little bit of selling. So let's see if we can continue to curl up here on goggles. I'm looking at 175.33 possibly for the next beak wetter. We'll see if that 175 got taken decisively, or this is just another wick, and then we work our way back down. Goggles, the biggest loser in Mag 7. No, incorrect. The biggest loser in Mag 7 world today is Tesla. The second biggest loser is goggles, Google and GOG. They're both in and around that 2% area there. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Okay, so we did work up into 25s, and then we met with some selling. So Google did work up into 25s, but unable to ascend into that third of a dollar. Packing my patience here with Google. Let's see what we get. Microsoft, still zigging and zagging, guys. Still negative, and still kind of these candles, man. This could be a bear flag setup right now on the 5. A big boy drop, a sideways consolidation. Maybe I need to start building a position at around 424 or whatever, in and around that area. It looks like it's bear flagging here. Let's see what we get with Softy. Yeah, I don't know. And another thing, though, hold up. Let's you know, let's pause and chill for a second. So here's the deal. We got a new DOJ incoming. We got a new DOJ incoming. That's the truth, right? So, you know, the investigation could be discontinued. The other side of that coin, so that's the positive side. The other side of that coin, apparently, there is going to be a bit of overlap between these two administrations, especially as it regards them taking on the big corporations. So apparently that's one area where they seem to agree, kind of like China. They seem to be able to agree on China a lot, right? Another thing they seem to be able to agree on is anti-competitive behavior with their largest companies. Who knows, though? Who knows? These are all unanswered questions. A lot of these guys are untested. We got Matt Gaetz in as Attorney General. That is peeving a lot of people off. I personally don't care, right? But, you know, how does Matt Gaetz think? Well, apparently, if you look at his history, he hasn't been a fan of these corporations in the past. He's going to be the Attorney General of the strongest country in the world.
So,
right?
And this is what I was going to ask you, and I was going to look it up myself, but it slipped my mind. So how much success has the DOJ had on breaking up these mega corporations?
I think Microsoft was their biggest.
Was it? Okay, 90s. So that's as big as it, but in the 90s, so 30-something, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, so a long time ago. So again, I don't know what their success rate is. That's something I'm gonna look into myself and like see who they breaking up and what the chance of them succeeding in breaking up Google. Again, why would they want to do that when they're one of the largest companies on the planet, and that brings more strength into your country? So I think it's all noise, right? So that's just something that I was personally gonna look into. What is their success rate at breaking up these large corporations, and like how does it benefit, I guess, like monopolies and et cetera. But again, what is the overall benefit? Why do you want to possibly give more market share to countries that are other countries that can potentially be?
I love the comments in the chat, guys.
What did I say?
I love it. I love it. Look, hey man, everybody's got an opinion. Have at it. That's what we're here for. Freedom of speech. But Adair's at the Big Desk. She's got something for us.
Let's take a look here at crypto once again here around 1 p.m. And again, if there's any tickers that you guys are looking at, make sure to put them in the chat, exclamation point join, space, $, and whatever ticker you happen to be looking at. Right now, though, during the afternoon segment of our crypto look, I want to take a look at XRP because Ripple is the strongest of these crypto names that I could see, the larger crypto-related names on the day by far, as we have a lot of these names pull back as the Trump trade, I guess, loses a little bit of steam in week 2. Now, it's worth noting here, we did have a bit of a double top in XRP around that 0.71 level. As of right now, pushing nicely above it after pausing at that level yesterday. Now here at 0.75. Now, there are a lot of wicks on this daily chart, but we are coming here after this first double top into another one. That's going to be this 0.819 area, 0.82 area. We started to hear this a little bit of a bull flag that didn't quite materialize. That was mid-July 2023. Then we make our second double top here, or a second top in late July 2023. So let's see what we do here with 0.819 to 0.82 on this XRP. It's also worth noting, apparently, crypto market capitalization hitting a record high here, $3.2 trillion. It's the first time that we've had that happen. And of course, the election of Donald Trump, who has called himself the crypto president, has been a really good look here as well for that space. Also, I just want to touch once again here on that Microsoft headline. So basically, we have the Financial Times reporting that they do have these U.S. regulators looking to investigate Microsoft's cloud business. As Sharif alluded to, before we had the administrations translate over, according to Financial Times, the FTC president, Lena Khan, who we know, or chair, sorry, Lena Khan, who we know has been a little bit aggressive, specifically with these mega cap names, is apparently looking to pursue these big tech companies as the Biden presidency winds down. So it might be worth noting we could get some other storylines or headlines along this theme, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. I appreciate that. All right.
Nice Google trade there.
Thank you. I was talking to the OB. He is the one Kanob, and he was like, "Look, bro, not a bad entry. As long as you understand where you're risking to, and you're okay with that, that is the move." So I got the nod from the reversion man. So we'll see exactly.
That's a good. I didn't take that second entry. I had the first entry there, but you took it twice, and then sure enough, you got the bigger move than I did there. But again, we held 174.39. I would have liked to get a little bit lower, but then I got this little move here and then stopped out when Microsoft started tanking. But again, that second entry where Sharif precisely got in is the one you want, because now we're taking that leg higher. If we can pull up Sharif's chart, then that would be absolutely fantastic just to compare the two trades there.
And the thing is, Chile Nightmare Fabian,
Boom.
The thing is, what I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to take it out at the third of a dollar, not because I like the third, but because I'm worried about this area trough. And so you know how I feel about areas of support flipping to resistance once you break them. So I am really concerned that we work in our way into 40s and 50s and we reject. Look, if we take out 50, I'll add to this. There's nothing stopping me from adding, right? Especially if it's going to curl up at least in the VWAP. Like, let's look at the different levels that possibly. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to move up because we're already having trouble moving up on goggles. But if we do move up, let's look at the levels. Well, we got 176. 176 obviously is a whole dollar level. By definition, it's psychological support. But that's not the only reason it's good right now. Look where VWAP is, exactly at 176. So you have that conflating or confluencing, as the OP is the one Kanob likes to say. And then you have a little bit up here, 176.25. Look at this long consolidation that we had essentially from 950 till we gave up the ghost at 1055, an hour worth of consolidating where the low was 176.25. So you've got all these different levels that you have to breach, obviously, and then we move up. If we continue above there, we're looking at 177 again for psychological support, 178. But to go green on the day, we actually have to work up almost into 179, 178.82. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset no matter what. Shout out to Neil. I hope he's having a great time out in Roma. Yeah. Lots of good stuff out there, Joseph. So
I bet, yeah.
Microsoft recovering a little bit here, Fabian. Let's talk about Microsoft, though, and where it could encounter some resistance. I like it possibly at 425, between 424.75 to 425. Couple of reasons for that. Let's start with the first one. Area trough right here at 1120. We double bottomed, and then we made the high of the day. So this is an interesting area to me. And then in addition to that area, look where yesterday's closing print is, 425.25. So right above that level by about, 50 pennies or so. It's a $400 name, so got to give it a bit of room. So if we work up into those areas, I'd be looking for resistance. But I was also theorizing that this could be a bear flag, and right now it's making a bunch of higher lows and higher highs, so I don't know how to feel about this one. We'll keep an eye on Microsoft. In case you're just joining us, they are being investigated. U.S. regulators to investigate plan or Microsoft's cloud business. Separately, I should let you know that in Europe, Google is trying to outmaneuver Microsoft in the cloud business by creating this kind of group, that is trying, or they're like a group of cloud providers. They made this organization to take on Microsoft, and apparently Google's running this organic group from behind the scenes, trying to outmaneuver Microsoft there. In addition to that, they're also getting the regulators to really give them a hard time out in Europe as well. So this is not the only area. What is this, bro?
What is going on here?
Binbos. What is this, bro? What is this?
Microsoft.
So that's obviously
Microsoft.
That's Japan, because I can't read any of that.
That's crazy.
Because I can read a little bit of Mandarin, and I can't read any of that.
Microsoft.
Microsoft. That sounds like Ram's doing. It's not. It's Fabian. All right. Shout out to the Chilean Nightmare. All right. It is Japanese. I could tell because I was like, that's definitely not Mandarin there. I'm studying Mandarin, by the way, guys, in case you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Here we go. Bang on Google. We get that third. Obi, how's it looking now? He likes it. He likes it. He likes it. The mean reversion man. Or reversion man. No, I know sometimes we call Jerome Powell the reversion man, but in my books, Obi's the reversion man, baby. And he likes it. So we're going up here, Joseph. It's moving up quite nicely. Let's see if we can continue. I'm gonna add here, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna get back in because we took everything out. We're gonna get back in. I'm gonna give this to about 20. If it breaches 20, I'm out. I'm gonna risk 15 pennies. What are you looking at?
No, just speaking of the EU, and I don't know if you guys, this is old news, it's from yesterday, so you guys might have touched on it as well too, but Apple faces 3.8 billion antitrust legal claim over iCloud in the EU. So I don't know, in the UK, sorry. So I don't know if you guys touched on that yesterday. So that's just a good look there that maybe has some reason why Apple is moving the way it is. But I mean, it's a fine, so why would it be trading higher? But one thing that is not working out for me right now is NVDA, and I'm not loving it right now because we can't seem to break and sit on top of VWAP. But if we hold these levels, I'm going to hold this position until we break lower here. But again, as of right now, I'm not really in sync with NVDA and the semis. Elon, I know your favorite stock is AMD, and I know you absolutely love that thing. So congratulations to you on that one. Wait for a dip to re-engage in AMD, he says. So I mean, I'm over that stock right now until I see it turn around. Otherwise, I'm going to avoid it. There's so much other things that we got going on, so we'll keep that in mind. And someone asked me in the chat too, Mr. M, to touch on some of the options positions that I have going on right now, which I currently do not. But I'm going to tell you why, because what I do have is a bunch of equities positions put on, and there's a specific reason. So we'll go over real quick what I tried to execute on AMD, and it just didn't really work for me from a longer term perspective, because when I bought the options, even though I do create credit spreads, but I'm not creating them right now, but we'll touch on AMD quickly while I bring this up. And I'll get to your super chat as well too, Nick W. Just give me a second. But here, Mr. M, why I don't necessarily have any positions open is because I was looking to play a gap fill, this gap fill here on AMD via options contracts. But what happened is I didn't give myself enough time, and I bought only an extrinsically valuable contract. So the only moneyness it was at the money. So again, I didn't have any intrinsic value on the asset, so I couldn't cash anything in. But again, we didn't get quite where I wanted to, and then I got caught in the position in the pre-market, and then after that, it just never looked back, right? So I wanted to leverage my thesis with an options contract, but it didn't work out. But what I did end up doing, and I have placed a couple trades on CrowdStrike, and I'm currently in GE, but again, I don't have a time constraint, so I'll look to get a little bit more in some GE here to fill this gap, but it's also kind of just selling off right now too, but I didn't want to be in a leverage position until the thesis started to play out, all right? So that's the GE look, and then I also have, what is it that I just played, CrowdStrike as well too. So I used equities on this front to play this gap fill, and then it just absolutely roared. I hit my target from a 3.6. I had 316.96s to 336s, so I got that whole gap fill play, which was absolutely beautiful, and then it exceeded that as well too. But that's why I don't have any options positions right now. I'm kind of equity heavy, but I will be looking to implement some spreads because that is a high percentage of my passive income is creating weekly spreads. So I usually only make 1 or 2 a week just for that little passive income. But as of right now, I don't have any positions because I have a heavy position right now in the swing account in iBit, GE, and some other things as well too. So not in the long term, but in the swing position. So that's why I don't have anything going on with the options front. But we'll get back into that for sure because, like I mentioned, that's a big part of my passive income. All right, guys?
Nice.
So Joe W., would you mind looking at D-Dog setup on daily versus now? Looks like it's tracing now move. Have a large call option position. Nick W., anything for you, my friend? So D-Dog, Datadog. I like Datadog. I know Jimmy Cramer likes Datadog as well too. So shout out to the guys on Mad Money. And I mean, hey, you're getting that volume starting to pick up here, which is, you know, I like that. We do have some big overhead resistance that we're looking at and we're slamming into and kind of rejecting. If you get anything opening up above this range, then I think you're going to be sitting pretty. But again, you're just going to have to hold. You get an open above this range, maybe you get a gap and go. Shree's fist pumping beside me. So we'll send it over to him shortly. But this is, we'll finish your super chat. D-Dog versus Now. Is Google still going? Like, what's going on? All right, so I should have figured. So we'll compare that to Now for you, Service Now. Oh, wow, this is an absolute trender. I mean, D-Dog's consolidating a little bit. But again, my take on D-Dog for you is just wait. Maybe you get this open above some resistance, and then you can take that next leg higher. But as of right now, you're not looking too bad there, Nick W. So good luck there, my friend. Show them what you got going on there on Google.
Have you looked at Softy, man? Softy is working its way right back up like
but see,
nothing
look at the volume print.
Yeah,
right?
good
so
thing I didn't short this.
Right. So, you know, there's no way, I don't think you short that until the low of that candle is broken. And then there you can say that reversal signal is
legit.
Invalid if it breaks the low of that.
Said.
But again, until it doesn't, then you can look for that. So yeah, that's a really good look there, brother.
Yeah, man. So here's what I'm looking at on the soft one. Big boy drop. In case you're just joining us, looks like the government's gonna investigate Microsoft and their cloud business, Azure. And right now, we did a nice retracement back into the mean over here, kind of in between the lows and the highs of the day. We're kind of in no man's land at 426.5. No levels for me to chart off here, Softy, but it's up a quarter point. Great recovery. It dropped a lot quicker than it was able to recover. So we'll pack our patience, see what we can get with that. We're still in goggles right now. There's a whole bunch of resistance here at the $0.50. I've set up on the other side of 50. We can't cross on the bid, so somebody's shorting up a storm here or taking profits at the $0.50 level. Unsurprised by that. What I am unsurprised by was the fact that we breezed through that 40 penny area. And the reason I was looking at 40 pennies as resistance, I made that point before, was this area trough over here at 1106 that we couldn't, we used, as support. So there's a whole lot of chop and churn right now at 175.50 with Google. I'd like ideally to be able to work my way back into VWAP, but you may not get VWAP over here. 176 essentially is where VWAP is. Now, the other side of that coin is we got to keep an eye on the future. Wow. How come? Because the future is rejecting VWAP as well, moving back above 21,100, but it's encountering VWAP, and every single time it's encountered it today, I'm talking about the NQ December contract, it's rejected. Now, it's breached it, obviously, on a wick basis, but quick as you like, 2-3 candle formation, we're back below VWAP. So that's kind of exactly what's happening right now, and Google coming down into my entry again. I don't have a problem with that because we've taken out some shares over here, but I just need to account for Google. Yeah, I need to account for Google while I'm watching the future. So yeah, the future obviously definitely has an effect on these Mag 7 names. Keep that in mind in case you're just new to trading these futures. Guys, Apple's on the way up to 228.43 here, man. 228.50 coming in on the dead one. I mean, could we see 230 today? If we see 230, Joseph, I'm taking some off the table.
You're taking a little. You're going to trim. You're going to trim.
Yeah, I'm going to take off 20%.
All right, I like that. I like that.
I'm going to take some off.
230. So you heard the man himself say it. 230.
I will.
You're going to trim.
I legit will. This is my SIM account, obviously, because I don't want people to see my user account. But we'll log in after the show, and we'll take out some at 230 on Apple because. Dude, I like it.
What are you gonna do? Buy some more?
Lock in some profits.
Some ASML or maybe a little more.
Well, yeah, but in due time. Let's see where's that bad boy at right now? That's back into 701. Okay, so it's dropping a little bit here. That's okay. Still up 4% on the day. I mean, I don't want ASML to pop because I don't have a whole lot of position. Big Spile Burdette dropping the cash in the chat. $4.99 super chat. I love mandarins. China, very good. Big smile. Why do I read your messages?
Yeah, I know.
Why do I read your messages? I can't read that, bro. Who am I? Donald Trump? Come on, I can't do that. Only he gets away with that. No, we do it off camera all the time. We have a good time.
Yeah.
We have a good time around these places. We don't take ourselves too seriously around here, so everything's good there.
But one thing I don't like, Sharif, is that we're just kind of chopping around below VWAP here on NVDA. So I think the longer that we chop around, the more likely that this breakout to the top side is going to happen. I could be totally wrong on that front, but one thing I always keep in mind, but here we go. I'm eating my own words right now as we speak, so as it continues to crawl higher. But let's see if we can sit on top of VWAP here, and then maybe we look to add there, my guy.
All right.
Show them what you got cooking up on that monster's
Yeah,
apple.
it's not doing. We're chopping and churning right now, Joseph. Looking for that $0.5 break and take, or I'm getting out of dodge. Let's look at some of these small cap gappers though. We haven't been showing these ones much love since there's a reason for that because they're not doing anything. Oh, QBTS, you didn't, you little devil. So this one stopped me out with that 2-candle breach there into 190, and then obviously true to form, it makes a new high a day where we had all our offers layered. Look, this is a mistake by me because I didn't put my stop to account for VWAP, and this didn't breach VWAP. So it's a mistake, lesson learned. I'll try to do better next time, but this was a great setup and poor execution on QBTS, excuse me. Still thinking about QUBT. They're both quantum computing names, by the way. QBTS and QUBT from yesterday. So could have done better on this one. BKSY. So this has been very respectful of the volume weighted average price today, this name. It's up 17.5%. Most of the dips into VWAP have been bought up. We are putting in lower highs and lower lows, though, ever since that crest right at noon. So we'll see if this one wants to hold up at VWAP. I mean, you could eke out 30 pennies, 40 pennies off this bad boy. It's shown its propensity to respect the volume weighted average price. So possibly a trade to be had there. Google is doing our 2-candle red formation over here. So the $0.25 is going to be the stop for my last out there. We've already taken a few outs, but I'd rather not take this out. I'd rather, get that print at 50, but we'll see if Google wants to cooperate, my man.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the market's starting to recover, and sure enough, we had that beautiful way to just complement the lesson there, I think, of the day is just volume, price announcement. Yeah, exactly. Fabian said it's a good lesson, exactly. So as we have Apple crawling higher, we're positive on the day with that. Nice. And we still have the Qs just down about 0.2% there, as well as SPY. So keep an eye out on those. It's been a little bit of a choppy mess there. We do have Powell at 3 o'clock as well, too. So expect some volatility to step in probably around 3 o'clock. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just the dud of a day for the overall markets there. But again, we have Bitcoin slowly crawling back as well, too. IBIT sitting just under 51 and Apple at 228.50s now. And I said I think we were going to hit the $0.5 after it broke that 227.5. So it's slowly crawling higher and higher. And then Microsoft just recovering everything that it sold off. So that was a big nothing burger on that one. But I mean, if you caught some of that volatility and you caught the bottom and with those signals, then congratulations to you. That those are really nice trades. But again, I'm just sitting here in NVDA, and we still have the inability to break VWAP here, Sharif. We're still positive on the session, up 1%. I'll pull it up here. But again, I've been sitting in this trade for a little bit now. Better part of a half an hour almost. So let's see if we can break it. Again, I'm going to need to see that volume step in order for us to confirm that breakout. And then maybe we go and push some support levels down here and see what's going on with that. But as of right now, I'm just sitting on my hands waiting to see if NVDA either breaks up or breaks down, my guy.
I got to let you guys know, Bloom Energy halted pending news. So not sure what's going on with this one. NYSE halt, Bloom Energy, BE, on the NYSE halted pending news, trading at 1320. Don't have a reason why this is, I don't know the reason why it's halted. I know it's pending news, obviously, but don't know why. So don't know what the news item is. So keep your eye out on that one. It's down to 2 1/3 today. It's only on my watch. It's on my, thorough watch list is what I'm trying to say, under clean energy and the like. So BE halted, pending news right now. So keep your eye out on that one if you're inclined. But guys, what the hell is Apple doing, bro? Wow.
Yeah, it's still
It's on the way up.
Put your order out there. It's waiting for you. It's
I
saying,
can't.
hey, Sharif,
Yeah, if I can't log out.
2:30.
I'm taking out
Everything
some
is
at
money.
230, Katina, man.
So
I'm
there
going to
you
take
go.
out probably 20% of the position. It's going to be, yeah, we got to take some out, Katina, because we haven't wet our beak at all on that bad boy. So that's what the, okay, drops trades, what QBTS was doing. Sorry, dog. I mean, sometimes I can see the messages coming in the chat. Sometimes when you're concentrating or I'm not at the desk, I don't see them. This is what he's talking about. It broke. It made a new high of the day. I executed poorly on this. Yeah, tougher look there. All right, so keeping an eye on this. The Katina man is in SMCI right now, and that's his only position. So SMCI, the Katina man's in that right now. What's the look on that? He's short right now in the 60s. So keep that in mind if you want to follow the Katina man's trades. We do have another separate channel. It goes by the name of More Trader TV. And you can see Obi's positions and Neil when he's in town. Sean's obviously, and all the different headlines making moves on the day. So if you want, head on over to that channel. What I would do is I would run them simultaneously, keep my eye on both of them. All right. That's all I've got right now. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, same thing, man. I'm just chopping around here in NVDA. Are we going to go higher, or do we continue to kind of just chop around, or do we break with some volume, or is NVDA waiting for 3 o'clock for that volume to step in and we get that volume influx, and then it can finally pick a direction? But as of right now, the banger of the day, it seems to be, out of the Mag 7, is absolutely the dead one, as you referred to, Sharif. Apple up 1.5% on the session, still continuing to crawl higher and higher and higher. So that's a good look there on that one. Don't love the daily from this point. We do have definitive support and resistance levels up here. But again, this is all just noise in here. So if you're playing condors, are you market neutral on this ticker, then congratulations to you. And the more that I look at it, Sharif, the more I want to play somewhat of a longer term condor on this position, because as of right now, we don't have anything. And you say you're worried about the tariffs, so I'll have to look into that a little bit myself, because as of right now, I like this for a market neutral strategy. Even though we are trending, we are still stuck in this range. So if I create a condor on this position and one side starts to outweigh the other, then I can just close that position and then have a one-legged trade there on that one. But again, I really like this one. I know I'm equities heavy, but the more I see this, I like this consolidation as well as on the Qs. So I'm gonna look at some premiums after this and then potentially make a trade based off of that. So I'm looking for a market neutral strategy, as Rivian Millionaire mentioned earlier in the session as well too, and I agree with them, is that we just moved up too fast, too quick, so the market needs to take a break. So I like that look, because I totally agree on that front. And it's the same with Bitcoin as well too. That move was fast and furious. So we'll see if we're going to take a little bit of a breather, which it seems to be doing right now, but also recovering on the day, putting in another, I wouldn't call it an inside session, but we're still trading in a range. So again, I like that look. We moved pretty quick, so the market does need to breathe, and I expect us to do so for the next little while, brother. What do you got going on?
Okay, QUBT breaking out, says Nick Dub. Thank you for that, Nick. Let's load up this bad boy on the 5 and have a look. Yes, nice move up there. Just printed the high of the day, the 4 1/4, but keep in mind the pre-market high is 4 2/3, so a little bit above that actually, 435. So we're still not above the pre-market high, but as you can look from yesterday's price action, it's been very directional. So if you use the aftermarket, the pre-market, it's been very consistent for this name. So good look, man. Up another 60% today after, what did this close at yesterday? It was up 151% by the time we hit 8 p.m. in the aftermarket there. So nice move up. And then basically from the closing print yesterday, this is not from 8 p.m., but from the closing print to today, we're up 60%, obviously. So good look. 428. Keep your eye out on that one. But there is another small cap gapper that's made its way onto the scene, AGFY. It's halted right now, currently to the downside. Did make a high into $22, halted down into 8.25. Did this halt up as well? Yes. So we had one halt up, one halt down. We're still above the volume weighted average price, and I would submit to you $18 or between 17.5 to 18 could be support. The halt level is at 18.25. So keep that in mind. That's the down halt level. The up halt level is 19 2/3. Reason I'm mentioning levels, sometimes they act as informal areas of support and resistance, so keep that in mind if you're going to trade this. But I'm going to stay away from this one. I don't like halting names. I'll give you details on it, though. $24 million market cap, 1 2/3 million shares traded on the day with a float of 9.5 million shares. And the short float on AGFY, let's bring down trade ideas, have a look at the short float. Negligible there, about 2%, not much in the way of a short float, so not really looking for a short squeeze there. It's going to be a 10-minute halt, it looks like right now, because we're still halted on this bad boy. So, yep, and keep tabs on that one. How we doing on Google? Yeah, just too wishy-washy right now. Looks like we're putting in lower highs on the 5-minute, so I don't know. I can flatten out here for break even, but maybe this is bull flagging. We'll see. We'll see. Adara's got something for us at the big desk, though. Get it, Adara.
There is a late day money talk segment, which I think is pretty apt because we do have the man himself, Jerome Powell, coming here and stepping to the mic at 3 p.m. We're going to definitely give you all of the details on that because Fed Chair Jerome Powell, this will be his first comments since the Fed meeting last week. Apparently, he is set to speak on economic policies. This could be something definitely to watch out for here. I want to take a look here at the 15-minute chart of the U.S. dollar right now because we took a look at the daily earlier today. On Wednesday, we had this nice push to the upside. Then we get here around 8:30. We get that PPI, which, as a reminder, came in higher than expected for all but the month-over-month print. And then we get that push to the downside. Trying to recover, though, currently here around this 106.67 area. So we have to wait and see what happens here. But it is worth noting we're going to be getting this speech coming through from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Now, tomorrow, we already had CPI and PPI. Tomorrow going to be a bit of a lighter economic data day, but you are going to get retail sales numbers and core retail sales numbers, as well as New York Fed manufacturing there coming through, export prices. And at 9:15, we'll get industrial capacity manufacturing. Then at 10 a.m., we'll get business inventory. So not hugely important data, but we're going to get a lot of it tomorrow morning, guys. See you then. But make sure you take a look here first and look at your ticker of choice, ! Join, space, $sign, and whatever ticker you're looking at, put that in the chat right now because we only have 20 minutes left to do so. If you want to see what Sean and Obi have to say about one of the top 5 tickers, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. Appreciate that. Look, I don't have a good feeling about what this market is going to do because we got another rejection of the volume-weighted average price on the NQ December contract, and I'm not holding Google if that's going to do that, so I flattened out break-even, and I'm awfully happy that I did because now it's breaking down below my entry. This is what I'm looking at, guys, on the future. It's been a 3-setup rejection. Every single time we seem to work our way from south to north into VWAP, we do a few candle hold up, and now we're dropping again. Once, twice, OB dang thrice, and we're dropping again. We're below 21.1. Let's see if we can make a new low on this because we have lower highs. Let's see if we can continue to make lower lows. We have 2 lower lows over here. 21.1, no, 20,000 just held up by about 16 points or so. So that was the low there that we printed at 1250. We're below VWAP again. It's not the biggest red day in the world. We're down 1/3% on the NQ, so not a bad look. Apple still at near at highs. Google, breaking down. So I'm happy I got out of that one. But Joseph, your analysis on NVIDIA is quite sound, dude, because we're straddling it in a range, but we're straddling VWAP from the south side. Interesting look here. What does, how do you set up on this? Do you play the range? Or are you looking for a breakdown?
I mean, at this point, me personally being slightly long biased, I wouldn't even be looking at this anymore. And I heard Obi mention this before. It's like, well, if the long's not there, then maybe you could potentially flip the short, but sometimes flipping your bias isn't that necessarily easy. So for me, I would just avoid this stock. I would look for something that's more trending, has a little more conviction in the price action. But again, from that standpoint, I took the L on that one. I do think it's going to break down, but I'm also not going to chase the position either.
Fair. I respect that. I mean, like, that's kind of similar to how I was thinking about that. I wouldn't want to chase the monster NVIDIA. I mean, you know how that kind of sometimes works.
You know what I mean? I don't want to necessarily be shorting like the strongest thing on the planet either at the moment too, right? So I get, yeah, right? So that's just me. So that's it. I'm not saying that it can't be shorted, but that's just something, me being slightly long biased, I'm not going to try to just force something, as I like to say, milk a stone, which so.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah, that's just me.
BTCT, guys, one that was made infamous, or famous, not infamous, famous by the Katina Man, because he was taking multiple dollar winners in the pre on this, and it's setting up a nice little pattern here. So it's well, it's not actually negative, it's up 10%, but very much near the lows. And why am I talking about it? Because it seems to be incrementally making higher highs and higher lows. You got a bit of an upward channel here. What I was looking for was definitive areas of support and resistance that are flipping. What do I mean by that? So you guys heard me wax poetic, to use an Adair term, about that $19 top that we had been putting in essentially in the morning, and about $17.5 bottom. Now, what I was looking for was that 19 top, once it gets breached, to actually act as support. It hasn't given you that, though. So I'm really hesitant to want to use that strategy. Instead, what I want to try to employ with this is the entry at the extremes of the channel. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing consistently higher highs and consistently higher lows with a predictable area. Now, nothing is exact with these trend lines. You guys already know that. So I'm going to be interested in possibly getting in at 18 2/3 to 18.5 to account for this area low, with the idea being that we can work up into a new area high, possibly 2050, maybe even 21 if I'm lucky we get a VWAP dip. So here's what I'm doing. I'm putting out an alert, even though there's about only 25 minutes left on the show. I'm putting an alert at 18 3/4. Why 3/4 when I'm going to get in at 2/3? Because I'm going to be made aware of when it's approaching that level. In addition to that, I'm going to put an alert, a new alert, at the top end of the range. So I want to put it at around 20 1/3, because I want to see once it gets into that top end, because I want to be able to short possibly. Now I'm going to have to find out, number one, is it a pay for short type situation? And number two, how much I got to fork over to get shorts on this bad boy? So we're going to keep tabs on this one. I've put in my alerts for the range that I want to play. It's an upward channel, but I would submit to you, it's not respecting, you know, these support and resistance flips. What it does seem to be respecting right now is the upward channel. So I'm going to keep tabs on BTCT, see if we can weasel into something, because there ain't a whole lot happening right now, sadly, in small cap gapper world or much else. So let's have a look, Joseph, to see what the large caps are doing. Yeah, that Google out was sound, baby. That Google out was sound.
Soundhound.
Yeah.
Soundhound.
Let's see what people are saying there in the chat. Beer Producer, I love that name, dude. Ask this before earnings tonight. Absolutely, sir. Let me have a look at ASTS. In fact, I think this is one we were trading yesterday. So let's load up ASTS. Apparently they're reporting tonight. Okay, let me first of all give you the deets. So yes, they are reporting tonight. Let's load up Market Chameleon and then talk possibly about what to expect from them. From earnings, we can talk about things like implied or the implied move and options, volume, etc. So let's bring in the earnings play first. Have a look at Astis. What the hell is the name of this company? AST Space Mobile. That's it. What's the market cap? 119 million. Okay, that's why. So we're all the way at the back here, Joseph. We're gonna have to go all the way. Okay, so let's go over here. 119 million. There it is. It should be over here. AS Tech. What is it called? Space. All right. So maybe the previous page. What's going on? All right.
Did you see Nick's other $5 super chat?
No, go ahead.
RGTI next mover, in my opinion. So let's take a look at RGTI in a quick second. But one thing I want you guys to do before we move on to RGTI is I want you to go to yesterday's session, and approximately at 10:05, I want you to look at the 5-minute print on Qs, and then what happens from that point after. All right. So that was my look. When I was just watching the market yesterday, working on some things, and then I was just like, I was a little bit too late to the dance on that one, but that's a perfect signal. And I didn't pull the trigger on that one, so that's unfortunate, but that is okay because there will be plenty more, and if you know what to look for, you self-seek and you shall find, all right? So Rigatech Computing for you, Nick W., what's going on with that? Next mover in your opinion. Let me see what this company even does in the first place. You ready to go over there?
Pay a bill.
Okay, yeah, no problem. We'll talk a little bit more of this after we get back from Sharif.
All right, guys, eSignal is that platform that allows you to trade smarter, not harder. If you're interested, upgrade to that elite trading experience. It'll allow you to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after that, you'll be able to capitalize by foreseeing those profitable opportunities with the platform that you need. You get a lot of stuff. Infinite data is one of those. You also get instant trading. You get to know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data and execution. Some people would also say that they've got charts that change the game. You can customize and analyze markets faster in your way. And we all know a sound trading strategy requires good backtesting. That's what you get here. You get better backtesting, better scanning. You can better predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data up to the second market information from hundreds of global sources. It's everything you need all in one place, so don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, I know I am, scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or weasel your way on to the description of this video and click the link in the description. I know the Katina man likes that. All right, let's have a look for Sebastian because he asked for me to look at ASTS and I couldn't find it here because I was looking at the wrong market cap, Joseph. Here it is. So AST Space Mobile. Previous move, 50.7% to the upside. Oh, baby. And the expected move this time, plus or minus 20%, 19.9%. You got a healthy amount of options volume too, Joseph, about 52,325 contracts there. But compare it to Disney, where we were printing about 473,000, or even something like JD.com, that Chinese e-commerce business, we had about 181,000 there. So good look right now for ASTS. It was a good report last time for them. Let's do some technical analysis now, though, on this bad boy. Let's go to the daily on ASTS, okay? I don't know what's going on. Why? All right, so it's not loading up the daily area.
Stop embarrassing us.
Yeah, I know. Stop embarrassing me. It's so funny, bro. You put that perfectly yesterday. It's a good look, guys. It's a good look this year. What are they up year to date? Let's find out super quick here. ASTS. Year to date, they're up 362% year to date. So this is not a small cap gapper that's giving up the ghost that quick. Technically, it's a great breakout trade. Obviously, we're off the highs. You have to assume there's a lot of, intraday trading and trading rather than investing in this name. Local highs, guys, about $40 and a fifth, $40 and a quarter. We're not really that far off given historical prices. We're about 28 bucks right now with the high there at 31 in the pre. It's a bit of a downward channel, obviously, since we topped out there in late August. Lower highs, lower lows, but if I bet you a lot of people are thinking this is very bull flaggish, and you wouldn't be wrong. This is kind of what a bull flag looks like. If we get a big boy breakout on earnings, I wouldn't be surprised. But let me know how it goes, Sebastian. I hope that, I don't know if you have any invested in that, but this is a respectable company, guys. It's up 363% on the year. So we trade it intraday and we call it a small cap gapper and all that, but it's a $7.75 billion market cap. So yeah, that's a look there, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there. We'll get over to your super chat there, Nick W. on Rigetti Computing. Is a fully stacked quantum computing company. The company operates quantum computers over the cloud and service global enterprise, government, and research clients through its Rigetti Quantum Cloud Service platform. All right, so yeah, the company's Quantum Classic infrastructure provides
RGTI.
high performance integration with public and private clouds for practical quantum computing. All right, a lot of quantum going on there.
Qubit, QBTS, they've all been
QBT,
quantum.
yeah,
You weren't here yesterday, that's
No,
why.
no.
Yeah, they're running. Something's going on with
something
quantum.
going
I don't
on.
know if the Orange Man said anything about them or anything like that, but quantum computer's been running.
Follow the Orange Man. I mean, you just see what he's got going on. We got Elon now in the Department of Efficiency, so I guess just follow whatever goes in that direction. But again, I like this from a technical standpoint. In a month or so, you're up 100% plus on this ticker if you've been in it for that long. So 2 points, 1.8, yeah, stop. So yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, good trade there. 2.2 points, $1.48 stop, 3 to 1. Yeah, congratulations, Nick. Glad you put on some a nice trade on that one, especially if you're pointing it out there. So yeah, that's a good look there. As for like long-term investing, I don't know too much about that. I can't say too much about it. So, but other than that, Nick, yeah, thank you for the super chat very much. And yeah, good luck there. I'm glad you were profitable on that trade. So guys, one thing I didn't really talk about too much, nor did I pull up, was my darling IBIT. We didn't trade this today, and rightfully so, because I'm on this for a pause, right? So I don't think that we're gonna take that leg up, because we've seen how distinctive, when this thing wants to move, you see that distinctive price action, and we're not getting that relayed today. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm not looking for longs or trying to force a long on this yet. I do think the asset needs to breathe in order for us to take that next leg higher. So that's my look on IBIT there. We did have this on Billy, which worked out really nice for us as well today. Using prime example of our lesson of the day is just classic volume price analysis, isolated volume signature with an isolated, well, not quite isolated, but with a pivot potential there. And then this was the result of that trade on that one there, guys. So missing the, oh yeah, Sebastian, missing the hockey outfit. I got a bye week this week, Sebastian. So there will be no hockey tonight on Thursday. So we'll see if we can pick up a game, because I know some of my boys play pickup on Thursdays. So they're probably going to draft me, look to sign me for a one-day contract there on that team. So maybe we'll get that rolling, and we'll put a couple pucks in the back of the net, as we tend to do. But what we do have, Sharif. Yeah. So we'll get that rolling there. But Sharif, NVIDIA is tanking, and I know someone in the chat, sorry I forget your name, who mentioned this. You're asking me about it. But yeah, congratulations on the short, because we were talking about it, and I said, I didn't know about it, but you were right about NVIDIA. So they're short. So I don't know. He's trouble, man.
He is trouble, and he's learning from Ram.
Yeah,
he wasn't Sinister before.
No, now he's opening up.
She got so defensive.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna get. Did I get you almost got the water bottle toss.
I thought I got
that would have been insane.
She's been giving out a lot of gestures lately, Joseph.
Heated lately. The iPhone 16.
Best production team around, bro.
Yeah, he's a solid team there. But those are the looks, guys. We had Billy today. We had Google on the trades. We went 0 for 1 on Tesla, but we're about 2 for 3 on the session, something along those lines. But yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll stop calling him the Orange Man. Sorry.
No. I don't want you to think that that's a pejorative term. We're saying that in a completely agnostic way.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like I don't want you to think that we're disparaging him at all. I am not. I'm just speaking for myself.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Trust me, we are not at all. We are not belittling him at all or anything like that. But trust me, I mean, hey, I wish I could tan. Yeah, I wish I could tan that much, to be honest, or be on the golf course.
I love Adara in the chat. She's like, "What is happening?" Right? What's going on?
It's chaotic. It's chaotic right now. We'll tone it down a little bit, and we'll see what ASML 700 looking spicy. Thank you, Adara. We know Sharif's in that one.
There, baby.
So let's take a look there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at ASML. And here's the thing. Let's do a little bit of a longer-term TA on ASML, because there's not really anything to my liking right now in the future or on the market. So let's have a look at the daily here on ASML. And look, let me tell you, I wasn't really, getting into ASML because I thought the technicals warranted it. No, this is a monopoly. It is a legal monopoly. So how much are we going to drop here before we find, a little bit of a bump? So I'm not trying to predict this one. I want to work my way incrementally. I'm talking about buying 1 or 2 or 3 shares at a time, nothing big. And the reason is because I don't want the bottom to drop off with a big position and have to take a big loss. So I'd rather work my way into the position. I think that this one is going to continue to run. I think they've had a tough time as of late because of, you know, some non-AI factors. Specifically, what really had them selling off aggressively was the PC business. It just didn't catch up to where analysts were predicting. That isn't going to be the case forever and ever more. We already know that the upgrade cycle from COVID is coming either next year or the year after that. And most people are predicting next year. What do I mean by upgrade cycle? Well, you know, these computers have to get upgraded, right? Whether it's your home computer at home or the work computers that we use here. They're 3, 4, maximum 5-year cycles. So ASML stands obviously to make a lot of money from that. In addition to that, they've got, you know, the exclusive domain of the ultraviolet lithography machines. And TSM needs these machines to make that 3 nanometer, that 2 nanometer chip. So, you know, they're the only guys doing it. So I was like, okay, you know, I watched it bleed, I watched it bleed, I watched it bleed, and I'm like, I'm gonna get in at some point over here. There was a nice little holdup essentially at 675 before, so I said, maybe an interesting area of support, let's get in. I'm not basing my entire life on it, but I want to work into this name. I had always lamented not having been in it. So that's a look there. ASML, I think it's a good company.
Yep.
Let's see what people are talking about. Oh yeah, unless you want to take over.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Rivian Millionaire, chips are all a buy right now. Dude, you're not wrong. I mean, it's just, I don't know about everybody though. Like, I don't want to be jumping into AMD, into some others, because they're just unable to produce capacity. And that's not, you know, their fault. It's just Taiwan Semi won't give them anything. And that's the thing. Now, that might change when the Arizona plant comes online. And some other plants. They're building another plant in, I believe, Japan. I'm talking about Taiwan Semi. They want to obviously de-risk a little bit from Taiwan. But then you've got the Taiwanese government coming in and be like, no. No 2 nanometer chips anywhere outside of Taiwan. So then that throws a bit of a wrench into the whole thing. So such a complicated industry, lots to, you know, kind of take in. Shout out to Rohit saying Apple dropping. Let's have a look at Apple. Looks like it is into the 10 exponential moving average at 228.25. There was some support here, Rohit. I don't know how you feel about this. We had this candle pop up at 1250 and consolidate for about a period of 25 minutes, right around 228.25. That was essentially the high end of that range, and then we broke it big boy with that 115 break and take of that level. So I'm not going to be getting into position right now with 9 minutes left on the show, but yeah, this 228.25 was the kind of stair step level on the way up. So let me know how you do on that one. What are we? Nick Dubb, QUBT. Pumping, and Manuel Palma coming with that exact same message at the exact same time. So let's load up QUBT. Let's get rid of Google over here.
Wow, that's a banger, man.
Hey?
That's a banger of a trade there.
I appreciate you, Joe.
Yeah.
I know you're lying, but it's all good.
What do you mean?
I'm playing. He's talking about my trade. I'm playing, bro.
Come on, man.
I know. I'm just busting.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Why you always
okay.
lying? Stop lying.
I'm thinking of a different song, but yeah, QUBT.
But it's like it's the parody of that one, right?
Is it?
Yeah, you never seen that? You never seen that?
No, I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't actually heard it in IRL. Here, 4.5, Joseph, seems to be an interesting level here on QUBT. Yeah, sorry, Trenda. I hit Trenda there. Yeah. Ramram's going to get very upset. She finds out I hit Trenda. Guys,
there's notes.
Yeah,
Did you know this?
Those are from before. Yeah, those are threatening notes. She told me to watch my back and watch my car and stuff like that. I kept them in case I needed proof. I kept them.
This is absolutely
I took pictures of them. Here, let me show them. To people.
This is insane.
These are the kind of letters that Ram. Watch your back.
That is absolutely crazy.
And then she tried to troll me by telling me that Trenda was just like, oh, you can't really see that one, but it says I'm back. Ram.
This is insane.
Say that again, Adara?
And
She did, yeah. I remember she kidnapped Trenda and put him back there so he could or sure, sorry, her. She could look
Like,
at
what is this thing? Why does it have two faces?
Apparently you could flip.
Why is it double-sided?
Guys, QUBT is going, guys. Here we go, 73%. This is at 4 2/3. It's a breakout right now. A beautiful move up. Shout out to you guys for pointing it out in the chat. The real breakout was $4. That was the top end of the range we've been defending for. Look at that move into 4 1/3. We come back into 4, defend. So here we go, zigging and zagging. Looks like that 4.5. 445 might be support here, 72%. In case you you weren't with us yesterday for QUBT, it's a $453 million market cap, 189 million shares traded today with a float, guys, of 65 million shares. And I'll remind you what the short float is on this in a hot second. It is not bad, 6% here, Joseph. So nice breakout right now on QUBT. Let me know how you guys are doing with this one. I like that 4.5, but Adair does have something for us at the big desk.
Just keep an eye here on solar. I know this has been brought up before, but I just took another look, and here is the 15-minute chart of end phase. We get around 12:15 here, and then straight 15-minute candles to the upside. Excuse me, looks like maybe a bit of a topping tail candle now here as we run into potential previous resistance at the 64.90 level, but all green as of right now for end phase. For solar, also making a bit of a bounce, though not as clean as what we saw in ENPH. And then SEDG here, Solar Edge, also bouncing to the upside. End phase, though, the strongest of the bunch. Not seeing any specific catalyst on this, but it's also worth noting in that different energy type of space, we did have reports that it sounds like the Trump administration is going to be ending that $7,500 EV tax credit. So we know some of the EVs moved down on that. Solar, though, specifically, I wasn't able to find a catalyst, but I'm still looking, guys.
All right, we're in QUBT over here. I'm gonna look to defend 4.5, 438, and I'm out. So, oh boy, here we go. Let's put that in 438, and I'm gonzino on this trade. I'm gonna have to give it a bit of room, obviously, because it might drop. So we're gonna put in, yeah, we'll just take a quick trade here, Joseph. Small size, up in 5 minutes. It's gonna stop me out already. Yeah, so I already got stopped out super quick on that. I tried to defend that 45 penny level. It did not want anything to do with that. Boom,
as soon as you punched in, you were out.
Yeah, I was out. It's just,
you didn't even finish typing on the keyboard. And
I was trying to get my stop quick in case it really dropped there. There's a 4 1/3 defend as well. I like this 4 1/3 area, so I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. Lots of selling coming in fast and furious right now. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at Microsoft as it crept in on high a day here, especially after that massive selling, and then rebounded really nicely there, going to push those highs of days, but is now since failing as the market continues to drag itself a little lower and lower to see if the Qs, we still have a lot of time left in the day, a couple hours almost. Let's see if the Qs, especially come 3 o'clock, decide that they want to breach this low a day and continue that southeast movement, which is looking like it is, because one thing that is dragging it down and trading in a range is NVDA, the Jensen, the chosen one.
He is the chosen one.
He is the chosen one. So we'll see, because this thing's crawling down, and I mentioned this again. Guys, in order for us to continue to crawl higher and higher, we need some of these mega caps to continue to move in that northeast trajectory. All right, guys? So continue to keep an eye on the Mag 7 and see what everybody else is up to. But I think it's been a little bit of a choppy mess in the overall markets today, especially the Qs, because, again, we've just been trading in this, $3 range pretty much for the whole session. Every low is getting bought up and every high is being sold off there, guys. But even though we do have somewhat of a trend here to the downside, and nothing you can really point out here, but other than some distinctive lows that we broke, we did have the flat bottom break here, and now we're moving to the low of day on the session. So I think if Apple decides that it wants to pull back towards VWAP, then I think you're going to get that break of low of day, and especially if NVDA and some of the semis continue to move lower, which they're absolutely doing, something must be tanking really heavy right now, because
everything, bro.
Everything, like Meta, like, so there we go through the Meta, NVDA we were just on. Let's see what Google's up to here now. It's curling back. Apple pulling back. Yeah, exactly. Mean reversion from Obi there. So we have all these big boys starting to pull back and looking like they want to trade towards VWAP or potentially make lower days. And that's exactly what's happening on the Qs here. I think the SPY has already made a new low of day. But again, this is all relatively healthy. We're only down about 0.6% on the Qs. And and about 0.5% on the session. I'm not going to put on any more trades because in the next couple minutes, we're going to go over to my guy Obi and to our guy Sean. But other than that, what do you got going on there?
I got back into QUBT, scalped them out, got stopped out again. Who was telling me in the chat? I think it is Nick Dubb. He's like $4 is support, brother. Yeah, look, I thought 4.25 was support as well. It's kind of the same look. Yeah, it just popped up back again. 4.25 support because of this area crest in the same way that I think you're seeing a $4 support because of this area crest over here. But, you know, I can't really give it that much room with 2 minutes left on the show. So we'll scalp out a little bit there. BTCT, I'm getting the alert that it is breaking one of the levels. Now, which level is that? BTCT upside level. So it is breaking out there. We had an alert to play the range on BTCT. And we were putting the range right at that 20.25, or yeah, 20.25, now 20.25. The reason I was putting it up there is because of this range that this upward channel that we've been involved in all day. So I was thinking possibly I want to short it in here, but there's no way I'm going to do that with a minute left on the show. BTCT, though, trying to work back in to that volume weighted average price, which is loosely at that $21 area. It's been a good recovery, though, to be fair to BTCT after tanking at the bell, and even before the bell, it did find its base at 17 bucks, and now it's trying to work into 21. So not a bad look. It's still up, guys, 16.25%. What's going on? The Katina man said, look at the bid on SMCI. Apparently something's happening with that. Let's flip. Okay, it's gone. All right, guys.
And it's gone.
Yeah, it's like a whole brunt. He's still short SMCI right now, so keep that in mind.
Swing that to zero.
We got, what do we got over here, Joseph? We got about 3 seconds left on the show. Leave him with a thought.
Oh, wow. Way to put me on the spot. Okay, guys, just make sure you put in those stops. I hope everyone had a great trading session. Keep an eye out for some earnings. I know someone mentioned AMAT after the bell, as a couple other things as well, too, guys. But other than that, look for those VPA signals and keep an eye out and have those definitive stops and enjoy and have a good, safe trading session.
We'll see you guys tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Get it? Big kahunas.
We're here live with Learn to Trade
Yeah.
Again. Hi,
Yo,
everybody. How's
what's
it going?
happening?
I actually am not logged into Unity, so I'm going to do that in a minute. But